The pitch is swung on, hit high in the air to deep right. That ball is high. It is far. It is gone.
Gentlemen, you're watching the Yes Network, the home of champions.
Crystal clear blue skies here over Steinbrenner Field. Another gorgeous day in Tampa, Florida. The kids are out in force. They expect a big crowd here at the ballpark as the Philadelphia Phillies have made their way from Clearwater. Ryan Howard will be in the lineup, as will his teammate Jimmy Rollins. As for the Yankees, you'll see the veteran Jorge Posada at the DH spot. As today, the Yes Network presents New York Yankees baseball. It's the New York Yankees against the Philadelphia Phillies in an exhibition matchup from George M. Steinbrenner Field in Tampa, Florida. Hi, everybody, and welcome to Yankees baseball. Along with John Flaherty, I'm Michael Kay. The hitters, they're moving along. Sooner or later, they're going to get their strokes down. We know that. But the pitchers, that's what the Yankees are really keeping a close eye on. And one of the swing guys for the Yankees in this rotation this year is A.J. Burnett. And today he's going to make his second start, John.
Well, Michael, A.J. Burnett, every time he takes the mound, everybody's going to be watching. Mechanically, he has made some adjustments with Larry Rothschild. His first time out, he threw the ball pretty well. A nice curveball for a strikeout. Fastball in the outside corner, gives up a base hit, a couple of base hits back to back. But the one thing you liked about A.J. in this outing, repeating his delivery, gets a nice tailor-made double play, a couple innings, couple of hits, no runs for A.J. Burnett his first outing.
Tell you what, if this was a regular season game, pretty good matchup. A.J. Burnett did not have a good year for the Yankees last year. 10-15, 5.26. Roy Oswalt, one of the four aces on the Phillies starting staff, 13-13 between the Phils and the Astros last year with a sparkling 2.76 earned run average. A.J. Burnett, as John said, all eyes on A.J. all spring. He has to really reverse his season from last year. He'll take the mound. Lineups, first pitch, baseball, next on Yes.
It's amazing what the right key can do for you. Whether it's getting to work or as far from it as possible. And now that Chevy Truck Month is here, it's time to get the keys that you can depend on. During Chevy Truck Month, qualified buyers get 0% APR financing for 60 months on a 2011 Tahoe. Get the keys that do more.
It's here. Rite Aid's free Wellness Plus Rewards card. Discover all the ways Wellness Plus rewards you.
Join Wellness Plus today, and the more you shop, the more benefits you'll earn, like up to 20% off your purchases. That's like getting the whole store on sale every day for a year. Only at Rite Aid.
Vanessa insisted on high ceilings in a full-service building brimming with amenities. Stephen needed a skyline view from inside the park, a quick commute, and a fine aged cognac. No compromising was necessary. Life, surrounded by 85 acres of park. One Brooklyn Bridge Park, one of a kind.
It's here. Rite Aid's free Wellness Plus Rewards card. Discover all the ways Wellness Plus rewards you.
Join Wellness Plus today, and the more you shop, the more benefits you'll earn, like up to 20% off your purchases. That's like getting the whole store on sale every day for a year. Only at Rite Aid.
Today's Game on Yes is brought to you in part by Cadillac. Visit CadillacTristate.com to find a dealer near you. By Verizon Fios. Get the ultimate in entertainment on the ultimate network. Fios, a network ahead. And by Chase. Deposit checks from your smartphone with quick deposit. Take a step forward and chase what matters. We mentioned a beautiful day here in Tampa, Florida. Maybe a little bit more of a chill in the air than has been most of the spring. The weather has just been glorious. You see Joe Girardi, who has certainly got his team headed right toward opening day, which we'll have right here on Yes. And it's great to have John Flaherty back in the booth for his first game as Yankees against the Phillies. Charlie Manuel has brought his team here as well. Phillies 5-5 and the Yankees 3-5-1. Right now, 10 games in, John, where are they feeling, the players? Do the hitters feel that they're where they want to be yet?
No, I think they still need a couple of more at-bats, maybe 10 or 15 more to feel like they're right where they need to be. And then all of a sudden you get to the middle, to the end of spring training, where it gets to be a drag. But right now, still a little excitement with the players, ready to go.
All right, let's take a look at the game time weather conditions presented by Toyota. It is 70 degrees, sunny but cool here in Tampa. Not too bad in the Bronx. It's clear and windy, though, 40 degrees. So hopefully the numbers will boost up just a bit as we get closer to opening day. The Yankees and the Phillies play a lot in spring training because their spring training sites are so close together. Clearwater is maybe 25 minutes, 20 minutes away from Tampa. Both teams have beautiful facilities, and some might say that this could be a little bit of a precursor to the World Series. Both teams, well, two of the favorites in Major League Baseball to get to the World Series. Yankees obviously had to get through a tough American League East, and the Phillies had to get through what's becoming a very tough National League East, with the Marlins improving and the Braves doing what they've done as well. But the Yankees need that man, A.J. Burnett, to straighten things out, because A.J. Burnett last year, Yankees won 95 games despite a 10-15 record from A.J. Burnett. He can do better than that. So he's warming up, and let's take a look at the Phillies starting lineup that he's going to face, and it is presented by Lexus. Pretty representative lineup by Charlie Manuel. The center fielder is Shane Victorino. Placido Polanco at third base, he'll bat second. Batting third and playing shortstop, Jimmy Rollins. Ryan Howard will DH today. He's going to clean up. Batting fifth, playing right field, Ben Francisco. Ross Glodes at first base, he'll bat sixth. Batting seventh, playing left field, John Mayberry Jr. Carlos Ruiz, the catcher, he's going to hit eighth. And batting ninth, the second baseman, Wilson Valdez, as they wait for Chase Utley's knee to calm down just a bit.
Well, that Philly lineup going to go to work against A.J. Burnett. It'll be his second outing in spring training, and you look at the numbers from last season, and they are not pretty. 10-15, a 5.26. Did have 145 strikeouts and 186 and 2/3 innings, and we'll take a look at a little scouting report on A.J. All eyes are going to be watching him, not only in spring training, but during the season. Can he rebound from a tough year last year and be a dependable starter for Joe Girardi and his staff? And you look for the direction of the front foot. Larry Rothschild has made a little adjustment. He wants it going directly towards home plate. We'll pay attention, and you'll be able to tell if he's right by the path of his fastball. If it is straight and true the strike zone, that is good news for A.J. Burnett.
All right, so A.J. Burnett has finished with his warm-ups. So he pitched 2 innings his first time out. Now they'll bump it up to 3, or if he gets to a high pitch count before that. But 3 innings is their desired level. As we're ready, let's do it. First pitch is a strike. Vic Carapazzo is the home plate umpire. Victorino's numbers last year in 147 games. The 0-1. Pitch outside.
You see Russell Martin behind the plate working with A.J. today, as Victorino leading off for the Phillies and trying to get a little chemistry between the two. Martin a little slowed early with that knee problem.
And the 1-1. High fly ball, left field. Backing up Gardner, battling the sun. He'll put it away for the first out. Let's take a look at the entire Yankee defensive schematic, which is brought to you by DirecTV. We've already seen Gardner out in left. The rest of the outfield plays this way, with Granderson in center and Swisher in right. The infield, Jorge Vasquez is the third baseman. Eduardo Nunez at short, Ramiro Pena at second, and Eric Chavez is at first. Russell Martin, as John mentioned, is behind the plate, and Alan James Burnett is on the mound. Here's Placido Polanco. Pitch is a bit upstairs, 1-0. There's 3 sure things in the Yankee rotation: CC Sabathia, Phil Hughes, and A.J. Burnett. Now they have jobs, but what A.J. is going to do cannot be construed as a sure thing. He had a nice first year with the Yankees, and he won a big game in the World Series, Game 2 against this Phillies team, and the Yankees won the championship. Last year, even he would admit he did not contribute much to the 95 wins statistically had the worst season of any Yankee starter ever. Fouled away. And the thing that's a little bit of a conundrum is you could see if a guy lost stuff. This guy has great stuff and should never be 10-15 on a 95-win team.
It was one of those years where A.J. was lost mechanically, did not know where the fastball was going to go, as Larry Rothschild, the new pitching coach, looking on. And we talked about the path of the fastball. Looks pretty good early on this afternoon. And I had a nice talk with Larry Rothschild before the game about A.J. and some of the mechanical adjustments he made. And it sounds pretty simple, Michael. You know, you lift the leg up and you want it to, the front leg, the left leg, and you want it to go directly towards home plate. And Larry said he just wants to keep repeating it and repeating it, so that eventually A.J.'s not going to think so much about mechanics and can just get back to that point where he's attacking the strike zone, getting people out.
And what A.J. had fallen victim to last year is because, in layman's terms, he sometimes would wrap his leg around and it would point towards second, then he'd come around. He was pitching almost like a merry-go-round when they want him to pitch like a Ferris wheel and have everything go toward home plate. 3-2 is fouled away.
Yeah, we see the fastball has pretty good life. It's straight, it's true to the zone, and we'll see the last pitch and the motion from A.J. And obviously what you do mechanically is going to affect what happens at home plate. Front foot right towards the plate, lands softly, good direction.
(3-2). Driven out to center field and deep. Granderson back. He's still back, still going back, and that ball is going to be caught right near the warning track for the second out of the inning. So Granderson had Polanco played shallow, and he really made up a lot of ground to haul out in.
Curtis Granderson doing a nice job playing shallow. Polanco, not known for his power, more of an inside out, slap the ball to right field, drives this ball to center field just in front of the warning track, and a nice basket catch fighting the sun. Curtis Granderson covered a lot of ground.
Here's Jimmy Rollins, and the pitch outside. We know the Phillies have the pitching. A lot of question about their offense, though. Chase Utley has been out with a bad right knee. And when the Yankees were in Clearwater a week ago, that's when they had the press conference, said he has some inflammation, not a big deal. Well, now all of a sudden he received an injection the other day, so you wonder, is it a big deal? And he's a big part of their offense, their second baseman, Chase Utley.
Well, Chase Utley has a reputation as a guy who will play through some injuries, has been banged up in the past. You see the injuries to Utley we talked about. Dominic Brown out 3 to 6 weeks with that fractured hand. But I was more worried about the quotes from Utley saying, right now I can't do anything except swing a bat. I can't help this team. You know, if I had to play, I would not be able to go.
High pop-up. Behind the plate, Russell Martin runs out of room.
That concerns me more than anything because of his reputation as a gamer who will go out there and play through some injuries. So it tells you that Charlie Manuel, the manager, has to be concerned a little bit about his second baseman.
And we'll talk about this a little bit more later on, but Dominic Brown was going to be their answer for losing Jason Worth, who signed as a free agent with the Washington Nationals. And Brown, the third-rated prospect in all of baseball by Baseball America. And he broke the hamate bone in his hand, and he's going to be out, as John said, 3 to 6 weeks. That squib towards short. Eduardo Nunez fires across the diamond, and that's going to do it. Strong inning for A.J. Burnett as the Phillies go down in order. 1, 2, 3. So it's the Phillies nothing, and the New York Yankees coming to bat.
Save $100 on the DeMarini Voodoo Bat. This and everything baseball. Sports Authority, all things sporting good.
Why drive an SUV that's as aerodynamic as an elephant when you could drive this? The stylish yet nimble 5-passenger Mazda CX-7 or the 7-passenger Mazda CX-9 with standard Bluetooth technology and available blind spot monitoring, giving the Mazda CX-9 the highest predicted resale value in its class. Now get a low $289 a month, 36-month lease on the Mazda CX-9 all-wheel drive, but only through March.
Strong top of the first inning for A.J. Burnett. Now it's Roy Oswalt's chance. Philly right-hander will go up against this Yankee starting lineup, as put together by Joe Girardi and presented by Lexus. Brett Gardner is in left field. He'll lead off. Russell Martin will catch. He's going to bat second. Nick Swisher in right field will hit third. The cleanup hitter is the center fielder Curtis Granderson. Jorge Posada will DH. He'll bat fifth. Batting sixth, playing first base, trying to make the team, former A. Eric Chavez. Jorge Vasquez, the third baseman, will bat seventh. Batting eighth and playing shortstop, Eduardo Nunez. And Ramiro Pena, the second baseman, will bat ninth.
Yankee lineup has their hands full this afternoon. Roy Oswalt for the Philadelphia Phillies. On the mound, we'll look at his numbers from last year. 13-13 on the year with a 2.76, but he was 7-1 when he went over to the Philadelphia Phillies with a 1.74, so finished up strong. Scouting report, career is back on track in Philadelphia. And he would be considered a very, very impressive #3 starter. There are some people who say that he's an ace. I don't know if I entirely agree with that. And the fastball not as dominant in the past, throwing it about 55% of the time last year. What do you think, Michael? Is he a #1 in your eyes?
On certain teams, not on this one. I'd say that he's a #1 on fewer teams than people would think.
That's a good way to put it.
But when he was with the Astros, he was clearly a #1. But, I mean, when you have three other pitchers on your staff, Roy Halladay, Cliff Lee, Cole Hamels. You know, people look at Cole Hamels and say, well, he's the #4, John. But you look at Cole Hamels' winning percentage, it's off the charts. All this guy does is win. So that's a pretty good starting four. And Joe Blanton is your fifth starter.
Joe Blanton, kind of the guy left out in that group. And obviously, he's won some games for the Philadelphia Phillies, underrated.
Count 2-2. Now, you might see that the Yankees starting outfielders are in this game, but their regular infield is not here. And the reason for that is there's a split squad today. There's a game tonight in Sarasota against the Orioles. So Jeter and A-Rod and Cano and Teixeira will make that trip to Sarasota and play in that game this evening.
Not that tough of a day for the players. Like you said, Michael, they split the games, but the coaching staff has a very, very long day. Joe Girardi and the staff talking about it today. Full day of baseball work.
Joe Girardi is third year as Yankee manager. First year didn't go to the playoffs. Second, his fourth year, should I say. Second year won the World Series. Last year, game 6 of the ALCS, and now this is year #4 as Gardner grounds out to Glode for the first out. Let's take a look at the entire Phillies defense, brought to you by DirecTV. Well, since we've already met Ross Glode, let's go from right to left in the infield. Glode, Wilson Valdez, Jimmy Rollins, and Placido Polanco. That's first to third. In the outfield, John Mayberry Jr., Shane Victorino, and Ben Francisco left to right in the outfield. Underrated Carlos Ruiz behind the plate, and Roy Oswalt on the mound. There's a ground ball into the hole at short by Martin. Rollins, the long throw for the second out.
Paid attention there to Martin going down the line. Looked like he was running okay. No problem with that knee. First pitch swinging. Take a look at him coming out of the box. Gets a fastball away and pulls it to short. So he's got that brace on the right knee, but he looks like he's picking him up, putting him down pretty good.
Pitch to Nick Swisher is high. 1-0. All-star season for Nick last year. Career high 288. Did very well in the first round of the playoffs against the Twins, but then, as did most of the Yankees, slumped terribly against Texas. And that was one of the reasons that Nick kind of reinvented himself last year, because he had a bad postseason when the Yankees won the World Series in '09. He thought he had cured that with that great series against the Twins, but really struggled against Texas. Those are the postseason numbers the last 2 years for the Yankees.
You know what? It's such a hard thing, Michael. I mean, do you hit a slump at the wrong time in the postseason, and that's why you had a tough postseason, or do you put more pressure on yourself? You try to do too much, and that's the reason why?
He has said that when the Yankees fell behind in the Texas series, he tried to do too much. He said, when I do that, I get out of whack. I try to do things I really shouldn't do. The 2-2. Breaking ball low.
I think that's why I like Nick so much in the number 2 spot in the batting order. You know, hitting behind Derek Jeter in front of Mark Teixeira, Alex Rodriguez. You're in a situational hitting mode, but you're in a place where you can do some damage if you get a good pitch.
Swing and a miss. Off-speed pitch. And Swisher down on strikes. An impressive top of the bottom of the first inning by Roy Oswalt. So the veteran righty retires the Yankees in order. That one drops off the table, and Swisher swings over the top, and we'll go to the top of the second. No score.
Let's compare Dish Network and DirecTV. Both broadcast movies. Dish Cinema has about 55. DirecTV Cinema, 400. 400 of the latest releases, all in stunning Blu-ray format 1080p HD with Dolby Theater quality sound. And only DirecTV lets you pre-order movies that are still playing in theaters. DirecTV Cinema, another reason why 50 million people agree. Don't just watch TV, DirecTV.
It's here, Rite Aid's free Wellness Plus rewards card. Discover all the ways Wellness Plus rewards you.
Join Wellness Plus today, and the more you shop, the more benefits you'll earn, like up to 20% off your purchases. That's like getting the whole store on sale every day for a year. Only at Rite Aid.
Vanessa insisted on high ceilings in a full-service building brimming with amenities. Stephen needed a skyline view from inside the park, a quick commute, and a fine aged cognac. No compromising was necessary. Life, surrounded by 85 acres of park. One Brooklyn Bridge Park, one of a kind.
We go to the top of the second here at Steinbrenner Field, and there's no score. And we're going to see one of the better players in baseball, Ryan Howard, against A.J. Burnett. Howard getting half the day off as the DH today. Howard is somewhat indicative of, if you want to find a weakness on this Philly team, they are much too left-handed, and they can be neutralized by lefties. And the Yankees did that with Damaso Marte in the World Series in 2009. He came in and got them all out when he had to. And you have a good lefty out of the bullpen or a good lefty starter, you can neutralize this team. That was the big loss with Jason Worth. He gave them a right-handed presence. There's a strike.
I guess you can defend Ryan Howard a little bit last year. I mean, he hit 264 against lefties with 12 home runs, so representative numbers. But I think when you get to that elite lefty, that specialist out of the pen, that's where it's going to be an issue. But you got to believe the Phillies are going to have a big year, and Ryan Howard probably as well.
Yankees have the full shift on here in spring training, where they have 3 infielders on the right side. Second baseman Pena in short right field for Howard. And Jorge Vasquez, the third baseman, the only infielder on the left side. That's the breakdown. The 0-2. Missed outside.
He tried with a changeup, A.J. Burnett did. Not a bad pitch, 0-2. And that changeup is going to be the third best pitch for A.J. during the year in spring training. You break it out, and pretty good action away. Maybe could be a little bit better down in the strike zone.
The 1-2 into the Yankee dugout.
Another one. I just like the way A.J.'s rhythm. It seems to be like he's very in control of what he's doing out there mechanically. And Larry Rothschild was interesting this morning, said there's another level for A.J. You know, he's kind of pitching at probably 75–80% right now. And once he gets these mechanics where they're mindless, he'll have another level.
Swing and a miss. Fastball upstairs. So looked like the 2 changeups slowed down the bat of Howard, and 91 just overpowered him.
Yeah, it's a great point, Michael. Back-to-back changeups down in the zone, and then you elevate a fastball. 91. Changing the eye level, and again, you watch the mechanics, nice and smooth, not overthrowing. Ball jumps out of his hand, picks up a strikeout.
A.J. looks in at Ben Francisco at the plate. Now, we mentioned Dominic Brown. Now, Dominic Brown was really struggling before he got hurt. He had 1 hit and 16 at-bats. And Ben Francisco was showing something this spring, and there was some talk maybe they'll platoon them. But now Francisco is going to get most of the time out in right field. Fouled away.
Yeah, having a nice spring training early. Batting average up over 360. A couple of home runs for Charlie Manuel. I remember watching some of the games, Michael, with Dominic Brown, and mechanically had his hands out over home plate. And you were mentioning he was struggling in spring training. You see Francisco's numbers. Now, you know me, Michael. I'm always the glass is half full.
I've always said that about you, yeah.
Maybe this helps the Phillies a little bit. You've talked about how they could be vulnerable to the left-handed pitching. Now they get a right fielder batting right-handed. If he can continue this, which we don't know if he can, he's going to get an opportunity to showcase.
The 1-2. You know, there had to be some worries about Brown because last year when he came up, he did not hit well with the Phillies. And then when he went to winter ball, he struggled so much, he went home. The Phillies said, come home. It's not doing you any good there. And then he really struggled at the start of spring training. And this is a guy, as I mentioned, ranked 3rd in all of baseball, the 3rd best prospect in baseball. And he just wasn't finding it. Now, just because you're the 3rd best prospect in baseball, that's no guarantee you're going to make it in the big leagues.
And, you know, being an ex-catcher, I always look at hitters and where their hands are and where you would try to pitch them to get them out.
Hot shot to short. Nunez. 2 outs.
And getting back to Brown in his stance, he had his hands so far out over home plate that a major league pitcher would be able to bust him inside, you would feel, at will, and it looked like that was happening in spring training. He'll get 6 weeks to regroup and try to start over again for Charlie Manuel and his club.
Charlie Manuel used to be a hitting coach with the Indies before getting the manager's job and was a very good hitter in Japan. There's Ross Glode. Strike.
Another good changeup from AJ. You see Glode's numbers from last year. And Larry Rothschild, the pitching coach, has to be very pleased on what he's seen through 5 outs. Another good changeup.
The thing that worries you about that, guys work on their changeups down here, and then when the regular games come, they just abandon them. They just don't feel comfortable in a game that counts throwing their 3rd best pitch. Ground ball to second. Pena with a nice play, flips to Chavez. And A.J. Burnett has retired all 6 Phillies he's faced. 6 up, 6 down. We go to the bottom of the 2nd. No score.
The New York Yankees are tradition.
Swung on and missed. Sabathia is dealing.
2011 New York Yankees season tickets are on sale now with a number of great benefits, including savings off of the game day ticket prices. Several ticket plans also include postseason benefits. Yankee season ticket plans are available on both a full season and partial season basis, starting with our 11-game plan. Buy your season ticket plan today. Call 212-YANKEES or log on to Yankees.com.
Your therapeutic shampoo is finally paying off.
We are going out tonight!
Just another reason to celebrate with Fridays, where right now it's 3 full courses for just $12.99. In here, it's always Friday.
40 years ago, he wasn't worried about retirement. He'd yet to hear of mutual funds, IRAs, or annuities. Back then, he had something more important to do. He wasn't focused on his future. But fortunately, somebody else was. At USAA, we provide retirement solutions for our military, veterans, and their families. From investments to life insurance to healthcare options. Learn more with our free USAA retirement guide. Call 877-242-USAA.
This is comparable to the Corolla.
Why do so many car companies compare themselves to Corolla? Maybe it's because Corolla is the #1 selling car of all time. Or because the Corolla was awarded a 2011 IIHS Top Safety Pick. Lease a 2010 Toyota Corolla for just $149 a month, or get 0% APR financing for 60 months. And when you lease or finance Corolla, get an additional $500 in down payment assistance. We're #1 for a reason. Come see for yourself. Hurry in for the best selection.
Oswalt deals to Granderson, who fouls it back, and we're underway here in the bottom of the 2nd. Both pitchers have really flaunted some nasty changeups today. Oswalt struck out Nick Swisher on one to end the first inning, just an eye-opener. Don't you get the sense, John, that Oswalt's changeup is more refined because it really is, as you mentioned, low, and AJ's effectiveness with his change is just because of the change of speed, not the location.
Yeah, and I think something also has to do with it is Oswalt, his delivery. It's very quick, and he almost jumps at home plate, and that's going to sell a changeup.
Granderson laces a single to right field to open up the second.
A nice piece of hitting right there from Curtis Granderson. A little curveball, you're fooled with the speed, but you're able to keep those hands back and lace it into right field. See the slow 12-6. Nice hesitation with the front foot from Curtis. Nice base hit into right field. Keep the hands back. Extend right back through the zone.
Let's see if Granderson's going to run. He thought he might as Oswalt throws over to first. Here is Posada. Posada, what he has to do this spring training is learn how to be a DH. Now, he's DH before, so I know that sounds strange, but that's his job now. He's not going to have the respite of catching and staying in the game that way. He has to be an effective hitter for them at the DH spot as he fouls it back. And Kevin Long has spoken to him. He said he does not want him falling in love with looking at tape. He said that's the last thing I want him to do, especially of his own swing. He said make believe that you're going out on the field. Ride the exercise bike, keep the muscles loose. He said, but I don't want you looking at tape.
It's going to be a huge adjustment for Jorge. And, you know, those years behind the plate where let's say you have a bad at bat. You can go right out to the field, work with your pitcher, and kind of get away from the hitting part mentally. He's not going to have that luxury this year. And it's going to be a big-time adjustment for him. The numbers as a DH in his career, not that great. 223 with 9 home runs. Only 296 at bats, obviously.
Fly ball, left field. Mayberry is there.
This is where it begins. Now you got to think about that at bat. You break down every pitch. You break down your swing in your mind. You're frustrated. You don't have the luxury to go right out to the field and work with your pitching staff and try to get some outs and get away from it mentally. And you talk to different DHs on what their routines were. I mean, he just has to find something that's going to work for him. A little trial and error.
And also what's going to play against him. He's 40 years old. There's a ground ball through the right side for a base hit. Granderson's going for third. The throw from Francisco, not handled by Polanco, so Granderson goes first to third on the Chavez single right.
Looks like the old Eric Chavez I remember from the Oakland A's gets a little hole between first and second, and you hook a ball into right field. Curtis Granderson, a little hesitation to get out of the way, and he's not even thinking about it. Doesn't pick up Rob Thompson, the third base coach. And he's in just before the throw.
So first and third here in the bottom of the second. Granderson talking things over with third base coach Rob Thompson, and there's Eric Chavez. Chavez has one job this spring: stay healthy, because his career has been derailed because of injuries. If he can stay healthy, he's got a good role on this team. He's going to play lefty bat off the bench, play some third. They want him to play first, and he could be a valuable addition to this team. DH a couple of times, and here's a guy who's battling for that role with him. Now, he's really impressed so far this year. Jorge Vasquez plays first, plays third, and has hit a couple of home runs this spring as well. Monster shots. Trying to hit one there. Count 0-2.
Well, obviously he's had big numbers in spring trading, 583 with a couple of home runs. But Michael, he's one of those guys. He steps in the box. He looks like a hitter. You know, he looks hitterish, like he's going to do some damage. These are the 2 home runs against the Phillies, and this one is no doubt about it. Center field over the batter's eye. That is a legitimate bomb. And his next home run, a little off-speed pitch inside against Brad Lidge. And that maybe was a little spring training home run, aided by a little bit of a breeze. The first one, a legitimate shot. Like the way he sets up in the box, hands high, weight on that back foot. Some guys, when you watch from the dugout or from the stands, you say, this guy looks like he knows what he's hitting there on the front toe.
Swing and a miss. Big strikeout for Oswalt. Runners on first and third.
A big pitcher gets in trouble. He needs a big strikeout. He goes through the bread and butter. A nice changeup down in the zone. You talked about it before, Michael. A good action. Vasquez swings right over the top. I guess that's the difference right there when you talk about the possibility of being in number one. Can you pick up a strikeout in a big spot when you need it? Well, it's just spring training. Roy Oswalt showing us he can do it.
Here's Eduardo Nunez. Fouled away. Nunez essentially is battling Ramiro Pena, who's on deck, for the backup utility infielder role. And Chavez is battling Vasquez for the first and third spot. Nunez made his major league debut last year, and you saw the numbers. He impressed the Yankees, and he can really play shortstop. And this is what they've done so far this spring. Laird is also in the battle, and he's struggled this spring, 1 for 12. Nunez 5 for 18. Pena still looking for his first hit.
Yeah, obviously Pena wants to get going. The good news, Joe Girardi and his staff already know what he can do.
That one is drilled deep to left field. Going back, Mayberry turning, looking, see ya. A 3-run home run for Eduardo Nunez. And the Yankees lead 3-0.
Eduardo Nunez, first home run of spring training, and it is impressive. He gets on top of a fastball up in the zone. Nice finish, gets on top of this fastball, gets some backspin. Backside comes through, good extension. A line drive drilled out of here to left field, 3-0 lead for the Yankees.
Well, more pressure turned up on Ramiro Pena as he steps into the box. And there's a strike.
Getting back to my point about Pena, I mean, you want to have a good spring, obviously trying to win a job, but he's been here for a couple of years. The Yankees already know what he can do. Good defender, seems to give you a good at bat. Not going to give you much in the power department. I think most importantly fits in on that Yankee club and in that clubhouse. We'll see what happens.
Pitch outside. So a 3-run home run by Nunez. First runs on the board, and Yankees are up 3-0. Still 1-2. Be hard pressed to find many empty seats on this beautiful Monday afternoon in Tampa. Although there are 4 right there behind the plate. But you look around, the Scalpers were having a little bit of a field day. A lot of Philly fans in the ballpark as well. I mentioned Clearwater's very close to Tampa. And the count is full at 3-2. Such a relaxed atmosphere at spring training. Even the fans are more relaxed. They understand the games you're evaluating more than really competing for wins. Check swing. They said he went. Third base umpire Dan Iasonia pumps out Pena, who thought he had worked a walk. But right before that strikeout, Eduardo Nunez gets on top of a high fastball and drives it over the left field wall. With that swing, Yankees lead 3-0.
People say when you're good, you're good. But when you discover the Ford Fusion has a better resale value than Camry, it makes you even better. During our leadership sales drive, lease a new Fusion for just $129 a month. Better value, more savings at your Tri-State Ford dealer.
What if you could combine America's most advanced fiber optic network with America's most loved mobile device? Wouldn't that be something? Control your TV, manage your DVR remotely, and with a flick of a finger, send pictures straight to your flat screen with the Fios app for iPhone. To get more from your iPhone wherever you are, you need Verizon Fios, a network ahead.
Dude, Sarah just broke up with me.
Yes, I hated that girl. We're celebrating. Calling the gang.
Any reason is a good reason to celebrate with Fridays. Hurry in. 3 full courses for $12.99, like our crispy green bean fries, bruschetta chicken pasta, and chocolate peanut butter pie.
Listen, pal, you take as long as you need with this thing. And I want you to know I am here for you. Actually, I'm going to be at the bar.
In here, it's always Friday.
If you want to be a leader, then lead. Like Ford Fusion. With 34 miles per gallon, Fusion's gas mileage can't be beat by Camry and Accord. During our leadership sales drive, lease a new Fusion for just $129 a month. Unbeatable mileage. Best deal at your Tri-State Ford dealer.
Spring training baseball continues on Yes. Tomorrow at 1. The Yankees' young guns are set to sparkle in the Sunshine State when the Bombers head to Lake Buena Vista for a battle with the Braves. Spring training baseball continues tomorrow afternoon at 1, only on Yes.
Hey, later tonight, catch another episode of Yankee Spring Training Report presented by Lincoln for the latest news from Bombers Camp. And don't forget to submit your question to us on Facebook, Twitter, or email spring@yesnetwork.com. Yankee Spring Training Report tonight at 6:30 and again at 10 at the Yankees Encore, only on Yes. So Eduardo Nunez off that 3-run home run. We have Chris Sheeran and Nancy Newman doing Spring Training Report today. And I'm a little bit dubious, John. You know, I usually don't doubt people, but we've heard over and over that Nancy is originally from Canada. She's freezing at 70 degrees here. All she's talking about all day is how cold she is. Now, how could a Canadian be cold in 70-degree weather?
Well, you know what, in Nancy's defense, they did tape some of these interviews for the show in the shade, and it was a little chilly this morning. I'll give her that.
John Mayberry fouls it back in the shade where it was about 60. Don't they have the Iditarod up in Canada? So you want to watch the show as Nancy's teeth will chatter through certain segments. 1-1. So, John, what do you think of AJ so far?
You know what? Obviously, the numbers are pretty good. He's thrown some good changeups. This will probably be his last inning of work. I'd like to see some more curveballs in this inning. You know, work on that pitch. We've already seen the fastball and the change. Let's see some curveballs, get a feel for that, and have a real positive afternoon.
That one is driven out to right field. Swisher drifts back. He's there. 1 out. 7 in a row for AJ.
And obviously, you don't want to get too excited in spring training, but you got to like the way he's repeating his delivery. Larry Rothschild looking on, checking out velocity. And like I said earlier, he thinks there's another level for AJ once he gets comfortable and really needs to rear back and get a little bit more on the fastball. We'll pay attention as the season goes on.
How about this for always working, John? So Bill Boland's off today, our producer, and Troy Benjamin doing a great job, but I get a text from Boland. The Iditarod is in Alaska. That's what he came up with. Thanks, Bill.
It's impressive back home in New Jersey, paying attention to the telecast and breaking it down for you.
That is impressive. Or not. That one's grounded to third. Tough hop handled by Vasquez across the diamond. And Luis is out on the ground ball at third.
Well, Vasquez has had a nice spring with the bat, and Joe Girardi said he has done nothing to prove he cannot play defense. Get caught on his back foot a little bit, but a good, strong throwing arm. Nice motation. Four-seam carry across the diamond. In between hop. Impressive throwing arm.
Here's Wilson Valdez. Vasquez's nickname is El Chato, which I guess the translation is chunky guy.
Did Bill Boland send that from New Jersey to you?
I've got so many lines, and I'm just going to let them hang out there. Fouled away. Talking with the Yankee pitching coach, Larry Rothschild, about Burnett earlier this spring, and I said, well, is it a mental thing with AJ or is it a physical thing? He said, I think it starts as a physical thing and then becomes mental, and that makes it worse. He said, so you've got to solve the mechanical physical thing so you can get the mind right. That's a good pitch by Burnett, 94 on the outside corner.
Yeah, that might be the best fastball AJ has thrown this afternoon with the velocity you mentioned, Michael, 94. But check out the location and the fastball straight through the zone. Good pitch.
Fouled away.
Said I'd love to see that curveball here, that power curveball from AJ. Hasn't shown us too many this afternoon, and he hasn't needed it. Be a good spot here to break it out 2-2, try to pick up a strikeout and really have a strong afternoon.
Spoils that one. There's Larry, new pitching coach. And the 2-2. No less an authority than Mariano Rivera said, what a guy. He said, I like him so much. What a guy. And, you know, Larry Rothschild really doesn't have to work on that much with Mariano, but the rapport is instant and it's positive.
Well, I was lucky enough to play for Larry when he was the manager with the then Devil Rays for a few years, and you know, agree with Mariano. A tremendous guy, great baseball guy, hard worker. Good curveball. I was asking to see it, and AJ finally threw it down in the zone. Nobody's going to work harder than Larry Rothschild, and obviously developing a relationship with the pitchers. And check out the curveball down in the zone. Blocked by Martin.
There's a Rothschild resume. Grounded slowly to short. Nunez to Chavez, and that's an impressive 3-inning stint for A.J. Burnett. Rothschild has to be thrilled. 9 up, 9 down. Pretty good job. Yankees up by 3.
The New York Yankees are great moments.
See ya! What a play! He got him!
Yankee fans, bring your family, friends, or business associates to Yankee Stadium for a group outing and enjoy Yankees baseball in a game day suite. Game day suites can accommodate groups as small as 12 and up to 382 guests with all-inclusive food and non-alcoholic beverage packages. Make your special occasion legendary. Call 212-YANKEES. Email suites@yankees.com or log on to yankees.com/suites.
There's nothing that works like confidence. Especially with all this to back it up.
At the Lincoln Spring Forward event, get an attractive sign and drive lease plus 4 years complimentary maintenance on a Lincoln MKZ.
It's not just luxury, it's smarter than that.
Welcome back to Geico Radio. It's savings on the radio.
Kate from Mill Valley. It's all yours.
Well, I'm shopping for my first car.
Nice. I do hope you'll choose Geico, save a good bit of cash.
Oh, what color is the car? I bet you look great in a blue car.
No. Actually, I'm torn between a fuel-injected inline-6 and a higher torque turbo diesel.
Yeah, that's quite a quandary. I mean, of course, you could save either way.
Yeah, but is one of them blue? Because I go with the blue one.
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
He's the godfather of sports talk.
He got whacked and whacked again.
Make the Mike Francesa Show your home for breaking sports news, in-studio interviews, and analysis of the hottest topics of the day.
He's the best quarterback in the world.
Weekday afternoons at 1, right here on YES.
Brett Gardner swings at the first pitch. It's a hot shot to Glode, who gloves it and steps on the bag for the first out. 2-1
Welcome
Now, Roy Oswalt has made one mistake to Nunez, got it turned around for a 3-run home run, but he is part of the 4 aces. You've got Roy Halladay, Cliff Lee, Oswalt, and Cole Hamels. 481 wins combined, 3 Cy Youngs, 2 NLCS MVPs, and 1 World Series MVP. Now, you wonder, in this day and age in baseball, where there's a 5-man rotation and they don't let pitchers go that deep into a game, if they could do what the Orioles staff did in 1971, and that's have 4 20-game winners in their rotation. Hasn't been done since 1971. There's a lot of reasons why, and that's that vaunted starting rotation. Pat Dobson, Mike Cuellar, Jim Palmer, and Dave McNally. You think that could ever be done again?
Well, obviously, it's a different time. You see in 71 the impressive numbers, but a lot of these pitchers were pitching complete games. The bullpen not as big of a factor as it is in today's game. So the Philadelphia Philly bullpen is going to be a big factor if these 4 aces, so-called aces, can try to win 20 games. And good news, Brad Lidge, their closer, is further ahead in spring training than he's been in years. Madsen, a setup guy. Our good buddy Jose Contreras and Romero out in that bullpen. Impressive pitching staff.
Now, you asked me this earlier, or an offshoot of this question, so let me turn it on you, John. If you're Charlie Manuel and you had to win 1 game for your life, which pitcher would you have start of those 4?
Halladay.
That one is off the glove of Polanco. And Russell Martin will reach on what probably will be scored in E5. They could be generous here in the spring. Well, Halladay last year pitched a no-hitter in his first playoff game.
And Polanco playing third base, tries to come in and pick that in-between hop, cannot come up with it. Well, it's a nice problem for Charlie Manuel to have, the manager of the Phillies. Which ace would you roll out there if you needed to win a game? And that was ruled an error on Placido Polanco. You know, Michael, and the reason I say Halladay, I was unfortunate or lucky enough to try to hit against him. I mean, his stuff is so good when he's not on, so much movement, and then when you throw on top of it, on top of his game, he's almost unhittable. Joe Blanton, their number 5 starter, kind of gets lost in the mix.
Dance. Back door cracked, we don't need a key. We get in for free, no VIP sleeve. Drink that Kool-Aid, follow my lead. Now you're one of us, you're coming with me. It's time to kill the lights and taking control. We get what we want. We do what you don't. Dirt and glitter cover the floor. We're pretty and sick. We're young and we're bored. It's time to lose our mind and let the crazy out. This place about to tonight. We're taking names 'cause we don't mess around. This place about to blow. Go insane, throw some glitter, make it rain on 'em. Let me see them hands, let me see them hands. Go insane, throw some glitter, make it rain on 'em. Let me see them hands, let me see them hands. We're taking over. Get used to it. This place about to blow. This place about to blow. This place about to blow.
Actually, I'm going to be at the bar.
In here, it's always Friday.
It's comparable to the Camry.
Why do so many car companies compare themselves to Camry? Maybe it's because Camry is the #1 selling car in America. Or because Camry was named an excellent value by IntelliChoice.com. Lease a 2011 Toyota Camry for just $179 a month, or get 0% APR financing for 60 months. And when you lease or finance Camry, get an additional $500 in down payment assistance. We're #1 for a reason. Come see for yourself. Hurry in for the best selection.
My parents always lived in Queens, until my dad transferred to Istanbul. They settled in quickly, found their local deli, a few shortcuts, and a neighborhood hangout. But there's one thing they miss: their beloved New York Mets. So Citi helped me use my thank you points to give them something special. Their old seats, 5 and 6, row C.
New pitcher is Vance Worley on in relief of Roy Oswalt, and he deals a strike on the outside corner to Jorge Posada, the Yankee DH. Two-run home run by Granderson knocks Oswalt out of the game, the 0-1. 1-1.
Good breaking ball from Worley right there, and you could see he made it up to the Phillies last year. Actually started in Double-A, made it up to Triple-A, and ended up with the Phillies. 13 innings, a 1.38 ERA.
Just spring training. That's the way you have to look at it. CC Sabathia got hit hard the other day, and 3 years in a row Sabathia has been hit hard in his second start of the spring. You're working on things if you're a veteran. If you're not a veteran trying to make the team, you can't work on things. Fouled away. So I don't think that when Ivan Nova is out there, he's really working on his secondary pitches. He's trying to get people out because he's trying to make the team. Roy Oswalt knows he's made the team.
I guess you can almost say A.J. Burnett in the same boat. Obviously, he's not trying to make the team, but he's trying, as he said, shut up some mouths from what they were saying this winter. He did that this afternoon.
Posada laces one to left field. Mayberry back, still back, and he can't make the play. It'll bounce over the wall for a double. Good power the other way by Posada.
Well, this is what has made him one of the most dangerous hitting catchers in the big leagues for a long time. Obviously DHing today, but the ability to drive the ball the other way. It's a fastball in the outer half, doesn't try to pull it, doesn't try to do too much, and the ball's still jumping off his bat. Opposite field double with 2 outs.
Here's Eric Chavez. Chavez used to be really an elite player for the A's and was the one player on the A's team that Billy Beane gave a long-term contract to. And once the long-term contract hit, his body began to break down. Back injuries, shoulder injuries. This is a guy who once won 6 Gold Gloves at third base and was kind of the heart and soul of that A's team, but his body betrayed him.
Well, interesting signing a contract here with the Yankees, realizing he cannot play anymore because of the injuries you mentioned.
And accepting a backup role because he could have played or signed another place where he could have played more, but he realizes the body will not hold up.
And you know what? It's not a bad realization when you become more of a veteran player and the aches and pains are building. Once or twice a week, you might be a productive player. Anything more, you might not be.
Count 2-2.
You know, the biggest thing, Michael, for a veteran player is, I think, mentally coming to the realization that you can't play every day anymore, so you don't fight it. You accept your role and you try to do the best you can.
Line into center field, it's a base hit. Posada is going to be waved home. He'll score. So an RBI single for Chavez. He's 2 for 2 today, and the Yankees lead 6-0.
Well, all this damage done with 2 outs. That's a nice sign for Kevin Long, the hitting instructor. Yankees make you earn it when you have to finish off an inning. Chavez does a nice job getting a curveball up in the zone, drives it to center field. Jorge Posada off with the crack of the bat. Runs well for a designated hitter at this point. Able to score easily.
Well, they just appealed at third base. They thought that Posada might have missed third, but Dan Iasonia said he did not. So Worley comes in, gives up a double and a single. And here's Jorge Vasquez. Again, they appeal, and that time they appealed the right way, coming off the rubber, and they said that Posada missed third. So Iasonia said he did miss third when he came home on the single to center field. Let's take a look. Did he miss the bag? Rounding third, cutting it short. He missed the bag. A good call by Iasonia. Yankees lead 5-0.
Your therapeutic shampoo is finally paying off.
We are going out tonight.
Just another reason to celebrate with Fridays, where right now it's 3 full courses for just $12.99. In here, it's always Friday.
You want amazing? You need NBA League Pass.
Amazing can happen any night.
So you better watch.
Get NBA League Pass and you get NBA League Pass broadband so you can follow your favorites.
Watch your favorite teams, your favorite players, wherever you are.
Don't miss a minute of amazing with NBA League Pass.
If you love basketball, you need NBA League Pass.
Now that's amazing.
Get NBA League Pass for 4 payments of $24.99 on DirecTV. Call 1-800-GET-SPORTS.
It's here. Rite Aid's free Wellness Plus Rewards Card. Discover all the ways Wellness Plus rewards you.
Join Wellness Plus today, and the more you shop, the more benefits you'll earn, like up to 20% off your purchases. That's like getting the whole store on sale every day for a year. Only at Rite Aid.
Vanessa insisted on high ceilings in a full-service building brimming with amenities. Stephen needed a skyline view from inside the park, a quick commute, and a fine aged cognac. No compromising was necessary. Life, surrounded by 85 acres of park. One Brooklyn Bridge Park, one of a kind.
We go to the top of the 4th inning as the appeal at third works. Jorge Posada missed the bag coming home, but very little has gone wrong for the Yankees so far over the first 3 innings. And in the top of the 4th inning, we always get a chance to talk to the manager of the New York Yankees, Joe Girardi. Joe, how you doing?
I'm good, Michael. Flash, how are you up there?
I'm doing great, Joe. It's good to see you.
Good to see you.
Nice weather today, huh?
You know what? I think it might be the nicest day we've had here. I really do. It's warm, but there's a little hint of a cool breeze. You know, Tina was talking about it's like a fall day in New York.
Yeah, that has that feel. So your day was made better today when you saw A.J. Burnett pitch the way he did. Tell me about his performance.
I loved it. And the way he finished it, you know, I can't see exactly where he's locating those pitches, you know, to Valdez at the end, but it looked like he threw 5 fastballs in a row down and away. Really good location to Valdez. And he had command. He had a good changeup. Threw a few curveballs. Curveballs the last thing he's kind of working on in spring training, but I was happy.
Joe, talk about his changeup, because you're right, he threw a lot of good ones today. And is this going to be a pitch that you're going to stay on him throughout the year, or is he going to be like everybody else and kind of get away from it during the season?
You know, he started using it last year, probably the last 2 months or so, and at times it acts like a split, or at times it'll act like a hard sinker, and he had some success with it. So I think it's something he'll stick with.
How much do you read into spring training performance? I mean, when you watch a performance like that, you say, okay, he's turned the corner, or you just have to take it day by day, start by start?
Well, what I like is he was under control the whole time, and that's what I'm looking for, you know, the consistency in where his front leg lands, and that, you know, he's not falling off towards first base. And I thought he was really under control, you know, with what he wanted to do. And I don't necessarily get so caught up in the results, but just the process of it, and I liked it.
Jabba Chamberlain is on the mound, and Jabba has been impressive so far this spring, Joe.
Yeah, we've been happy. You know, he's changed his hands a little bit, and his power came right away earlier in spring, where he was 93, 94 right away, and usually it takes him some time to get there, and we were pleased with that.
Now, you say he changed his hands. In layman's terms, what does that exactly do?
Well, where he's breaking his hands, he was pushing them back a lot of times. Instead of breaking it, you know, when his knee comes up, and it was taking some of his power away.
We're getting a good look at it now up here on a replay, Joe. But, you know, talk to me about Jabba and where his mindset is this spring. You know, a couple of years ago, he showed a lot of emotion on the mound when he came out of the pen, and he seemed to have controlled that over the last couple of years. Do you want him to get back to that fiery personality?
Well, you know, the big thing is I want that personality. I mean, if that's who he is, I want it, as long as it's not showing anyone up. And, you know, there's always that fine line where he's showing the other team up. And, you know, I don't think Jabba's ever showed his emotion right to the guy. You know, it's more to the bench where he shows it. And I just think it's part of his DNA, and he needs to keep that.
Victorino grounds out to second. Let's talk about your shortstop, Eduardo Nunez. He turned around a high fastball. This is a guy who the Yankees think could start one year down the line. He's that good. Is there that trepidation on your part to have him be a backup infielder?
No, not at all. Here's a guy that we believe that can play the middle of the infield as well as Pena. In a sense, both these guys, you know, are competing for that job. So we don't have that trepidation. It would be nice to, you know, to give Jeet a day off here and there, and even to give Robbie Cano off a day here and there. We didn't give him a ton, Robbie, last year, and, you know, at times it looked like he could use one. So that guy's going to get some work.
You know, I'm always amazed, Joe, that, you know, managers throughout baseball now don't want even younger players playing every single day. So my question is Cal Ripken Jr.'s streak definitely safe? Is there any way anybody... Oh, what a play by Swisher. He holds on and flops into the Yankee bullpen for the second half. You'll like that one when you see it, Joe.
He didn't get anything to eat or drink when he went in the bullpen, did he?
Not yet.
Most importantly, a big smile on his face. Doesn't look like there's any chance of an injury. As you see Nick Swisher going to the fence, grabs on with his left hand, makes the catch, and goes right over, lands on his back, shows first base umpire he made the play.
Yeah, Michael, I really believe that that's probably safe, that record. It's one of those records I don't think that will be broken. And I think what, you know, we've seen with, as you get older, and if you're playing too many games, you can become counterproductive. Stay with it, right? Stay with it. Boy, I love when you guys get these quick innings from me. Not that I don't like talking to you. Maybe I'll come back in the top of the fifth.
That would be great. Thanks a lot, Joe.
All right, see you.
Thanks, Joe.
So Jabba Chamberlain works a 1-2-3 inning. Eric Chavez learning first base off the heel of his glove, but he stayed with it and flipped to Chamberlain for the final out.
Get out of the cookie-cutter carpool and ditch the box on wheels for this. The road-ripping Mazda 3. It outperforms Civic and Corolla with more standard horsepower plus 16-inch wheels, and comes with available high-tech features like push-button start and Bluetooth phone and audio technology. Now get a low $149 a month, 36-month lease on the Mazda 3, but only through March.
It's the bottom of the ninth. Full count. It all comes down to this pitch. Darryl steps up to the plate. It could be. It could be. It's gone. Darryl has done it again.
Save $80 on the Easton Stealth Speed Bat. This and everything baseball. Sports Authority. All things sporting good.
We don't just make a taillight. We make a sculpture. We don't just make a sunroof. We make the heavens wide. We don't just make a crossover. We make a statement. The Cadillac SRX. We don't just make luxury cars. We make Cadillacs.
Today's Game on Yes is brought to you in part by the all-new Chevy Cruze. Visit ChevyOffers.com and by NYSERDA. Energy, innovation, solutions. Well, Yankee fan, lighting the Cadillac scoreboard, which says the Yankees are leading 5-0 as we go to the bottom of the fourth inning. 5-6-0 Yankees. And the Phillies have yet to get a base runner. Worley came on in relief of Oswalt. Still in there, and he deals to Jorge Vasquez. Grounded deep to third. Nice play by Polanco. The long throw. 1 out. This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the New York Yankees. It may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the New York Yankees. Here's Nunez. Talking with Yankee hitting coach Kevin Long earlier in the spring, and he said, in all the years I've been in the Yankee organization and in spring training with them, he said, this is the most talent I've ever seen us bring into camp. He said there were years that we would be so fearful. Hot shot to third, grabbed by Polanco for the second out. We'd be so fearful of an injury to Alex or to Derek. He said we could fill in for a day or two, but not any long stretch. He said now, if Alex went down, he said we got Eric Chavez. He said if Derek goes down, we have Eduardo Nunez. He said those are guys that could start in the big leagues. He said so we have more talent than we've ever had before.
Well, you're not even talking about the guys behind the plate or the pitchers. I mean, it's been a very impressive early spring training for the Yankee organization, and Brian Cashman and his minor league system should be very proud of themselves, because it's not just the Yankees talking about it, it's everybody around baseball, how impressed they are with some of these kids.
And that is a hallmark of spring. Your team wants to talk up its prospects. They want other people to think, wow. They want to try to maybe oversell them and then include them in a deal for somebody that could help them right away. But as John said, this is almost baseball wide, where you see scouts here every day raving about a Benuelos or a Betances. Pena fouls it away.
Michael, do you see the philosophy changing a little bit? You know, I remember when I was playing, it was almost like you didn't want a young prospect to be a backup player. You wanted him in the minor leagues to get at his at-bats, to get his innings pitched. Now it seems like that mentality is changing. If he can help this team win, whether it's 1 or 2 days a week, we're going to think about keeping him.
Well, I asked Girardi about that with Montero.
Yeah.
Because I always felt, even before Cervelli got hurt, Montero had a chance to stick. And he's the best prospect in the Yankee system. And I said to Joe, would that bother you? Would that retard his progress? He said, no, no, no. He said it didn't do anything wrong to Jorge when he played behind me. He said, I think it gets you acclimated to the big leagues. They don't think it slows you down long term. And there's such pressure to win every single year. If you think somebody can help you, you have them up in the big leagues. I mean, that's the whole point of drafting and developing players. Who's going to help in the big leagues?
Well, the whole catching dynamic is going to be very interesting with Russell Martin. We don't really know what he is right now. Is he going to rebound from some of his injuries and get back to his all-star form from a few years ago? That's a good sign right there, sitting next to the pitching coach, trying to exchange some ideas on some of your pitchers.
Pena battling. Quick moving game here in Tampa. Bottom of the 4th inning. Yankees lead 5-0. A 3-run home run by Eduardo Nunez and a 2-run shot by Curtis Granderson. The 2-2. Right off the fist and a ground ball to second. Valdez over the glove. And a 1-2-3 inning for Worley as the Yankees go down in order. We go to the 5th. 5-0 Yanks.
A leader knows what it takes to be the best, like the Ford Escape, with quality that can't be beat by Honda or Toyota. During the leadership sales drive, lease a new Escape for just $179 a month. Quality-minded, savings assured at your Tri-State Ford dealer.
Could switching to Geico really save you 15% or more on car insurance? Does it take two to tango?
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
Springtime belongs to the doers, those of us who know grass doesn't turn green just because the calendar says to, and that a big difference can grow from a small budget. For those of us with grass on our sneakers, dirt on our jeans, and a lawn that's as healthy as our savings, the days are about to get a whole lot greener. More saving, more doing. That's the power of the Home Depot. We're lowering the cost of crowd control on those weeds with this Ryobi trimmer, just $89.
Your therapeutic shampoo is finally paying off.
We are going out tonight!
Just another reason to celebrate with Fridays, where right now it's 3 full courses for just $12.99. In here, it's always Friday.
Want to know what it takes to be a leader? How about just being the best? Like Ford Escape with an unbelievable 28 miles per gallon. During our leadership sales drive, lease an Escape for just $179 a month. Less stops at the pump, more savings in your wallet at your Tri-State Ford dealer.
We go to the top of the 5th inning on the Audi scoreboard. The Yankees lead the Phillies 5-0. New pitcher for the Yankees is Pedro Feliciano. There have been a number of storylines during spring training for the Yankees, and they will be important as we get closer to the season. Francisco Cervelli walking around in a boot. He's out 4 weeks, and Posada not an option to catch. Rotation battle for the 4th and 5th spots in the rotation. Nova, Garcia, Colon, and Mitre, they all pitch well. Then the 2 Bs, Betances and Banuelos, have been pressed. Brackman is yet to pitch because of a groin injury. And the back of the bullpen, Rivera and Soriano, they're taking it slow. They're enjoying the weather. They have yet to pitch in a game to this point. Here's Ryan Howard against Pedro Feliciano. This one you want to bring in your lefty to neutralize Howard, and that's why Joe Girardi brings in Feliciano now. And there's a strike. We are joined in the booth by our very own Jack Curry. Jack, how you doing?
Doing well, Michael. How about you?
Great. Was it good to see John Flaherty today?
It was tremendous to see a guy whose skin is paler than mine. I was very happy to see him roll to Florida.
You just hit the wrong button with him.
I just had it out with the manager of the Yankees in between innings off air about he got on my skin color as what would you like me to do, Jack? Go to the tanning bed in New York?
Right after you work out in the morning, hit the tanning salon, yes.
Those are Feliciano's numbers with the Mets. Before we talk Yankee news, Jack, what is the severity that you're hearing about with Utley?
You know, Michael, when we were in Clearwater last week, the Phillies were trying to minimize, I thought, what was going on with Utley. They started saying it was some soreness, then they said it was patella tendonitis, and now he had to have a cortisone shot the other day, and he hasn't played yet this spring. And my question is, as hard of a workout guy as he may be in the offseason, if you come into the season and you already have that knee injury, I think it has to be a concern for them.
Where do they go from there? Do they go with Valdez at the start if it's not?
If they don't have Utley, that's their option. And I tell you what, that's a big drop-off. And not only is it a drop-off at second base, but Valdez is a guy who can back up at a couple of positions for them. He's your guy at second, third, and short, so you're losing it in a few spots.
Howard goes down on strikes, and that's what we were talking about earlier, John. That specialty lefty whose job it is to get out Howard, you can get him out if you make your pitches.
Yeah, he's going to beat up the mediocre lefties. Feliciano, not one of the mediocre lefties in the big leagues. A nice breaking ball down and away from a guy who can pitch every day. Good matchup. Nice job by Feliciano.
Michael, in talking to Feliciano the other day, he talked about those kinds of matchups and said that that's the reason he's here, and he realizes that. So equate what he just did right there. That's David Ortiz in a game in August. That's the 7th or 8th inning, and that's where Joe Girardi wants him to be. He said, if I throw my slider and I put it where I need to put it, he said left-handers are not going to hit me. He was that confident about it.
The 0-1. Off-speed pitch, 0-2.
Good changeup as well.
Now, the end of the 4th inning, when Joe Girardi was on with us, it was a Jimmy Rollins ground ball to Eric Chavez, and it went off the heel of his glove. He stayed with it and got the out. But this is a work in progress with him at first base, Jack.
And he admits it, Michael. And he had another ball in Clearwater against the Phillies that gave him a little bit of a problem, too. And he said, you would think it would be easy. You're just transferring to the other side of the field. But he said, my whole life has been spent over there at third base. So he is trying to get acclimated and trying to get the footwork. He thought that when runners weren't on base, he would be fine. He thought having to hold a runner on and then get into position, that would be his toughest adjustment.
Francisco strikes out on the off-speed pitch. And here's that play that we were talking about with Chavez. It's interesting. Tino Martinez was working with him early, and there is trepidation on Chavez's part about playing first. And Tino pretty much told him, you won 6 Gold Gloves at third, you could play first base.
Right, and we saw that play right there. If he bobbles the ball like that at third, he's not getting the guy at first. So he is fortunate that on this side of the infield, if you do have a little bit of trouble with the ball, you can get the out. But I think Tino's right, Michael. You watch him field the ball at third base, and he looks so smooth, so comfortable. I think it's just some repetition. I think he has to get used to being over there at first base and feeling a lot more comfortable.
There's Tino in camp as one of the instructors. Ross Gload at the plate takes a first pitch strike. Phillies looking for their first base runner, and they still won't get ground ball to second, and that's going to do it. So 15 up, 15 down for the Phillies over the first 5 against 3 Yankee pitchers. Jack's going to stay with us. Some Yankee storylines when we get back.
What if you could combine America's most advanced fiber optic network?
Tomorrow afternoon on Yes, the Yankees head east to Lake Buena Vista to take on the Braves. Complete coverage starts at 1 when John Flaherty and I bring you the call from Champion Stadium. Spring training coverage continues tomorrow at 1 only on Yes. Are we traveling together, John, or are we taking separate cars?
We're taking separate cars.
Wow. Strong. That's togetherness. The Audi scoreboard, 5-0 Yankees. Brett Gardner leads off, which leads me to the question about Brett Gardner. He's changed his approach at the plate a little bit, Jack, in that instead of letting go of the bat and swinging through with one hand, he's keeping 2 hands on the bat. Why?
Right, he used to let his right hand fly off the bat when he finished his swing, and because he had that wrist injury in the offseason, he really couldn't do any working out. So he started to figure out in his head, how can I make myself better? And he started to think about some things he wanted to change, and one of them was keeping both hands on the bat. And the reason he said he wants to do that is because it keeps his swing consistent. He said it keeps his swing shorter, and it forces him to keep his backside behind the ball, was the way that he put it. And when I spoke to Kevin Long, he agreed, and he said that when Gardner would be going to finish his swing, he had a tendency to pop up, which Long didn't like when he would do that. And he said he's in favor of this too, and he likes the fact that Gardner came to him with the change.
Well, Jack, I'm wondering, Curtis Granderson last year went through the same type of thing with Kevin Long, so maybe watching that and how well he did maybe adds to this.
And you know what was interesting, Flash, is Gardner said his right hand would fly off the bat, whereas with Granderson, I recall last year he said it was his left hand that would fly off the bat. But what Brett said, too, is he used the word explosive. He said, I am a guy who has tried in his career to slap the ball because I'm in a rush to get out of the batter's box. Yeah. He said, by doing this, I'm keeping the swing consistent all the way through the strike zone, and it's a more explosive swing.
On that last swing, he didn't keep either hand on the bat as the bat went flying down the first baseline. Both hands gone. Now, John, let me ask you this. It was in vogue in the 70s, and Charlie Loud taught that, of letting the bat go. That one is dunked into center field, so let the race begin with Gardner at first base. What's the advantage of letting the hand fly off the bat?
You know what? I was a guy when I was younger, I had two hands on the bat all the way through. It was kind of a college swing, and then when I got to pro ball, the one hand release with the top hand gave me extension through the zone, and I started creating some power I didn't know I had. And you see Brett Gardner here, he releases with the top hand more because he swings at a ball out of the strike zone. He's got to reach for it and extend through the zone, and is rewarded with a base hit. It's you know, you can't teach the same way of hitting for every hitter. It's different for everybody.
When he used the word explosive, I said to him, okay, explosive, that means power. Are we looking for 20 home runs this year? And I was being facetious, and he said, I'll be happy if I get 3 or 4.
Well, I know Kevin Long knows there's some power in that swing that hasn't come out yet. Obviously, I don't know if 20 is going to be a number, but I think there's more there.
Yeah, I think he was being facetious, 3 or 4. I think he could hit double digits. I think he could hit 10, 12, 15 homers. Nah, maybe not 15.
I don't think they want him to hit that many, because then he might get away from doing the things that he does so well, which is put the ball in play and let his speed work. I thought Brian Cashman had a pretty telling line when the Red Sox writers were in town about Carl Crawford.
He absolutely did. The Red Sox writers were asking why didn't the Yankees make a bigger push to try and sign Crawford, and Cashman said, I really like Carl Crawford. He's a very good player, but I feel I have a pretty good player who can match up with him in left field, and he cost me $142 million less than what Carl Crawford is going for. And Kevin Long told me that. I said, do you think Gardner is a guy who's underrated, who people forget about? And he said, if you asked all 30 teams in baseball, they would want this guy. And there he goes.
Throw to second, not in time.
He talked about both sides of the ball, guys. He said he contributes offensively, and we see it right here with a base hit that he turns into a double basically by stealing. And then he said he's an asset on defense as well.
Good jump right there, and Ruiz, the catcher, has to rush the throw a little bit, is low. This play by Valdez, just keeping it in front.
Russell Martin with a 2-2 count. Love to hit the ball to the right side, but he swings and misses, and that will do it as Russell Martin strikes out. Pitch by Worley, diving down and in. Martin does not get the runner over. And that's going to bring up Nick Swisher.
It is fair to wonder, guys, what kind of season Gardner would have had last year if he didn't have that wrist injury, because he played in pain for the last 3 months of the season. This was a guy who was hitting .321 in the first half, and then that wrist, I mean, he taped that hand every day. He looked like he was a boxer going into a 15-round bout, and I really think that impacted him.
That one is chopped to second by Swisher for the second out as Gardner moves to third. That's going to bring up Granderson, and on deck is a Posada. And I wanted to ask you about Posada, Jack. We talked about it earlier, what he has to do to be a DH, be a good DH. There are several ways you can go about it. How is he adjusting to the role?
I went up to him today and I said, Jorge, you've been a catcher your whole life. How are you able to just sort of sit back now and just move into this DH role? There must be a part of you that still wants to put on the shin guards, that still wants to catch. And he said, I can't do that. He said, they've asked me to be a DH here, and if I don't put all of my focus into that, he said, I'm not going to be able to do this job. He said, I'm not saying that I don't think about it at some points, but if I don't figure out a way in a routine to be the best DH I can possibly be, I'm not doing what they've asked me to do.
I'll tell you, Jack, I think they're all saying the right thing, but being around Posada his entire career, I can't imagine that he is not somewhat hot about the fact that they won't even consider him for the backup role.
Well, he's an honest guy. We all know that. He's a very proud guy. He's a proud catcher, and I think that he will always see himself as a catcher. This year notwithstanding, I think that he views himself as a catcher. If you walked up to him on the street and said, identify who you are, he wouldn't say I'm a DH. He'd say I'm a catcher.
It almost doesn't make sense, John, why he even has a catcher's mitt in his locker this spring, because they will not even use him at all, which I don't understand. It would be great if he could be a third catcher on this team, but if he doesn't catch down here, he's not going to be in catching shape.
No, you got to give him a few innings down here, at least just to get your feet wet behind the plate, but it doesn't sound like that's going to happen.
So Granderson takes first, and that's going to give Posada a shot. Last time up, he hit a shot to left field over the head of John Mayberry Jr.
He's caught some bullpens, Michael, but he said what John just said the other day. He said you can't go from a bullpen to a major league game. He said you need to have some innings behind the plate, and there's no schedule for him to do that. He did say to me as we ended our conversation, we'll see what happens this year, which I think was his way of saying he's still holding out that hope that at some point he's going to walk through that clubhouse door, and instead of seeing a DH by his name, he's going to see a 2 designating that he's catching that night.
I think that Brian Cashman, the Yankee GM, has said it the right way, though, publicly. He hasn't said we don't think Jorge could catch anymore. He said we have to get him in the mindset that he's going to be the DH. That's why we don't want him to catch, which is the right way to say it. There's a proud guy. He's won championships with your team. He's 40 years old. And rather than say we don't think he can physically catch anymore, we think it's better for him as a DH not to put on the catching gear. First and third with 2 outs. Count 3-0.
We saw Curtis Granderson have the green light 3-0 earlier in this ball game. We'll see if Jorge Posada gets the same.
Taking all the way. Would it have been tough for you, John, to just, okay, you're not catching anymore, you're just the DH?
Yeah, if they said you're the DH, my career would have been over. With my career batting average was brutal. But no, I can't even imagine it. And we talked about it before, Jack, about the transition for Jorge.
Well, if he hits like that, it'll be a pretty good DH. He lines a single to right field, picks up an RBI as Gardner scores. Granderson stops at second. Posada today is 2 for 3, and he picks up a ribby, and the Yankees lead 6-0.
Has he talked to you at all, Jack, about his routine as a DH?
He said it's difficult if we see that swing again, and Michael's right. Keep hitting the ball like that, and everyone will be happy with the offensive side. But yes, he said he can get into a routine at home games because here at Steinbrenner Field, he knows where everything is. But John, you've traveled to some of these ballparks. Yeah. I mean, you go to Bradenton where the Pirates are, and you're lucky you can find a little 10-foot area to maybe jump some rope or whatever you do, ride a bicycle, whatever a guy does to keep his legs warm. So I actually think this transition and this getting ready and getting comfortable that we're talking about, I don't know if that's even really going to start for him until the season starts.
Great point. It's a great point.
Because what happens at Fenway Park, where everything is cramped, and he knows the park, but he knows it previously because he'd put on his catcher's gear and run right down the clubhouse stairs to get onto the field. So I still think that this transition period is going to carry right into the season.
Eric Chavez is 2 for 2 today, first and second. It's been all Yankee so far. Foul bat.
Michael, I was watching Chavez take some ground balls at first base on one of the backfields today, and he's been kind of quiet, I've noticed, for a veteran guy. But I think he's feeling more comfortable because he was very vocal on the field. Nunez and Brandon Laird taking balls at third base, and he was standing at first and was really giving them a lot of encouragement, which was kind of a nice thing to see because you could see the guy is feeling as if perhaps he belongs here a little more.
Count 2-1. You know, in his own way, he's going through almost what Posada's going through to a lesser extent, though, or maybe to a greater extent. Posada's still a regular player. You know, Eric Chavez was a star, and now all of a sudden he's going to be a bench player, maybe get a start a week, come out the bench and pinch hit. Ground ball up the middle, and Chavez is 3 for 3. Granderson will score. It's an RBI single for Chavez, and the Yankees lead 7-0.
The Yankees doing a nice job today hitting with 2 outs. 2-out base hits, a couple RBIs. Jorge Posada. Now Eric Chavez, 3rd hit on the afternoon, and again a fastball out over the plate. Drives it right back up the middle. Looks like the same swing to me from the old Oakland days.
Well, you don't see this very often in spring training, and 2 pitching changes in the middle of an inning. You see Granderson, he touches third base for sure, and he will score easily. The Phillies go to the bullpen. They lift Worley. Yankees leading 7-0. We'll be back. The new pitcher for the Phillies, Drew Naylor, and he will face Jorge Vasquez. First and second, 2 outs. There's a strike. On deck for the Yankees, Eduardo Nunez. He already has a 3-run home run. Before this inning ends, Jack, tell me about Nunez's chance to make this team.
Michael, I think Nunez makes this team. When I look at the Yankees bench, I see Andrew Jones. I think Chavez makes it. I think Nunez makes it. And then I think you have your backup catcher, which is still up in the air. But I think Montero is the leading guy for that spot. But watching that ball that Nunez hit earlier in the game, it reminded me of the batting practice we got to see over in the Dominican that he took with Robinson Cano. He showed that kind of power in BP. And I kind of laughed. I chuckled to myself. I said, Jose Cano must have been smiling somewhere, because Robinson's dad really worked a lot with Nunez and Cervelli, and he's very big on bringing the power from your hips, and that's one of the things he was working on with Nunez over there, really using your hips to get into your swing. And see a wild pitch here, the runners advance, but he told me, guys, while he was over there, I'm sorry, Cervelli told me, he said Robinson Cano has the strongest and most flexible hips in baseball. He said that's what makes him such a powerful hitter, and that's what Jose Cano tried to get Nunez and Cervelli to do more of.
So a wild pitch there by Naylor as the two runners move up. Here's a 2-2. Naylor strikes out Vasquez, who's 0 for 3 today. But the Yankees get 2 runs on 3 hits. 2 men left. We thank Jack. We go to the 6th. 7-0 Yanks.
Luxury everywhere you look. First of its kind technology. When your heart and head are saying the same thing, listen.
At the Lincoln Spring Forward event, get an attractive sign and drive lease plus 4 years complimentary maintenance on a Lincoln MKX.
It's not just luxury, it's smarter than that.
The in crowd. They know the in spots, the in places, inside and out. They know the beautiful people, and they know how to get there in style. The in crowd, those who choose Infinity of Manhattan. In Manhattan, yet in keeping with low price and high quality, and inviting the tri-state area to save on
the G37X at an insider's price of only $329 per month.
So get into the in crowd. Get into Infinity of Manhattan.
Sniffing out the best pre-owned Lexus is now puppy's play at preownedplatinum.com. Fetch the pick of the litter from the inventories of the Tri-State's leading Lexus dealers. That's hundreds of cars from which we pick the highest value, lowest priced Lexus in the market that day. Unconditional love or exchange it within 48 hours. At preownedplatinum.com, pedigree is assured by a Carfax vehicle history. We are doggedly committed to making credit easy. So log on now. The pick of the Lexus litter is waiting for you at preownedplatinum.com. We lick those other websites.
If you think you have to put off getting a new car, think twice, as in Bay Ridge Nissan.
And Nissan of Manhattan.
The combined strength of 2 of New York's.
Burnett, Jabba Chamberlain, and Pedro Feliciano have been perfect through 5. And now the youngster Hector Noesi is going to take over. New battery for the Yankees. Noesi on the mound, and Jesus Montero is behind the plate. Those are the numbers at AA Trenton for Noesi last year. The walks, that's impressive. 86 strikeouts, 18 walks. The pitch to Mayberry. There's a strike. New first baseman is Luke Merton. Remember, he had pinch run for Chavez. Bottom third of the Philly order against a young Yankee right-hander. Foul back. Now, we've said this before, Noesi is on that second level of Yankee prospects. Warren, Phelps, Noesi, and the top level are the killer bees, Brackman, Banuelos, and Betances. But that doesn't mean that you'll see the top level guys before you see a Noesi. It's who's going to be ready, who's going to be closer. Fouled away. So far, Noesi has impressed in the spring. Phelps and Warren have struggled just a bit.
Always laugh when I hear that second level of prospect, you know, and it just comes down to what type of stuff these guys have, and they get rated by Baseball America as the best or the 7th best prospect, whatever it is. The bottom line is, do you believe you can get big leaguers out? When I watch this kid pitch and the way he carries himself on the mound, this is with a slider. He has good stuff, but he's got great mound presence. He kind of reminds me of Nova from last year. Does not look intimidated. Trusts his stuff. Wouldn't be surprised if we see him sooner than later.
John, was there an epiphany for you going to spring training camps where you said, okay, I can do this for a living, I belong up here?
You know what, I was one of those, 6th and 7th catchers for a couple of years, and a good slider picks up a strikeout. And you know you're coming to camp just to warm up pitchers in the bullpen. We're going to get another look at this strikeout pitch, a good slider down and away, and Montero catching, setting up off the plate. So you never really thought about making the club. And then all of a sudden I came into a spring training where John Marzano was the backup catcher. He gets hurt, and I get an opportunity to play in spring training, have a couple of good games. The next thing you know, you're in the big leagues, and it just kind of hits you so quick. And it's kind of obviously Montero is the Yankees' best catching prospect, and we've heard a lot about him. But he finds himself in that same situation this spring, where I might have a chance to make this team now, where it looked like Martin was going to be the starter and possibly Cervelli the backup, and it all happens quick.
Drilled down the left field line and foul. I wonder though, John, you mentioned that you come into camp and you want 6 or 7 catchers and you're there to warm people up.
Yeah.
How do you keep yourself confident? I mean, how do you not get down? Gee, all I am is pretty much a backstop here.
Well, you're getting, for me, I'm getting a chance to play on a big league field against big league players, to gauge where I am in my development. Also, the other part of it is you don't want to go to minor league camp. Minor league camp is a different world. Obviously the facilities are not as good, and you're getting big league meal money.
Pena to Merton, two-way.
And like you said, life is good in the big league camp, and you want to stay there as long as you can. But I think more importantly, you're trying to get yourself to that level where you can compete with these guys. But the bottom line, until you make it to the major leagues, you have some success, and in your mind you say, now I'm a big leaguer. That's when you graduate to that next level and you can be an everyday player and possibly a star. It took me 3 years in the big leagues before I got to that point. It took me a while to get some success.
Wilson Valdez fouls it off. A.J. Burnett started for the Yankees, 9 up, 9 down, and he said in the Yankee clubhouse, John, that he was able to repeat his delivery without thinking about it. He said he called that huge.
That's a big step.
That one is drilled deep to left field. That's going to be trouble. Gardner giving chase, and that ball is gone. A home run. It went out in an eye blink. Off the bat of Wilson Valdez, and the Phillies are on the board. It's now 7-1 Yanks. The first Philadelphia hit of the afternoon.
Well, Noesi threw a nasty slider down and away to pick up a strikeout for the first out of this 6th inning. And he makes a mistake here with the slider up in the zone. And Valdez does not miss it. That is a hanging breaking ball right out over the plate. Speeds your bat up just enough to get that good extension. The Phillies on the board. Yeah, he's feeling good about himself in there. A little strut after the home run. Backup infielder, not known for his power.
Hot shot up the middle, almost got a piece of Noesi, goes into center field, a base hit for Victorino.
There's one thing about young pitchers: when they look good and they locate and they have good stuff, they're going to have some success. But when they make some mistakes, the slider up in the zone and a changeup to Victorino that was up in the zone, you pay the price.
So Victorino with a single. Here's Polanco. .92-mile-an-hour fastball, a little high.
You know, Michael, getting back to the prospects, I never felt like it was a bad thing to be that second tier of a prospect. You know, the number one guys get all the attention, and with that comes some expectations and a lot of pressure. That second tier guy can kind of get his work in, do his thing, open up some eyes, and sneak up on some people.
Did you always feel, though, that every at-bat you got in spring training, you had to get a hit?
Oh, huge. Yeah. You know, especially you're going in late in the ball game. Noesi here going to get an inning here in the 6th, maybe the 7th. every opportunity you had to show something. And it might not be getting a base hit. It might be a good at bat or blocking a ball in the dirt, throwing a runner out, whatever it is. The opportunities were very limited.
1-1. Foul back. Joe Girardi, first of a doubleheader for him. His team, or another part of his team, will go to Sarasota for a night game against Buck Showalter's Orioles. Right in on the hands, fouled away.
It's going to be a fun team to watch this year. A lot of additions.
75% of the infield is new. And Derek Lee, I love Derek Lee. I don't know if you saw the quote. Said, one-year deal, this wouldn't be the ideal place for me to go. He said, but I figure I can have a real big year in this ballpark and hit well here. I mean, that's honest. And he could put up big numbers for them now. 1-2. They have a new shortstop. They have Mark Reynolds, who strikes out a lot, but could hit a lot of home runs at Camden Yards. So they'll score runs, but will they be able to pitch? And there's the projected team that Buck Showalter is going to run out there. And Vladimir Guerrero, the new DH, had a big year last year with Texas.
Well, you know what? It's going to be fun to watch just because they changed that mindset the second half here with Buck Showalter, really coming in there and winning some ball games and changing the attitude in Baltimore. We'll see if they can carry it over.
So the Yankees will see them tonight. Fouled away. Charlie Manuel, on last year of his contract with the Phillies, would like an extension before the season begins. He's not in any danger for sure. He's done a great job here in Philadelphia, winning only the organization's second World Series. Breaking ball, check swing. And Marty Farser said he did not go.
Well, Noesi getting a look at Polanco here, one of the toughest hitters to strike out in all the major leagues. He's thrown up some good pitches. He's fouled off. A nice slider down and away. Polanco checked his swing.
Runner's going to go. Right back to Noesi. Flips to Merton, and that's going to do it. Phillies finally get a hit. It's a home run by Valdez. They're finally on the board. It's 7-1 Yanks. Game summary presented by Lincoln. It's been all Yankees, 7-9-0 Yanks, 1-2-1 for the Phillies. Burnett was outstanding. Granderson, a 2-run home run, 3 runs. And Nunez, a 3-run home run for the Yankees. So we go to the bottom of the 6th inning. Drew Naylor is still in there. Joe Girardi has to be happy with his team so far. And why not? But the thing that you concentrate on the most is the performance of A.J. Burnett. That's what you really watch. That's what the Yankees really need, is for Burnett to spin around the season that he had last year. And Chris Sheeran caught up with A.J. Burnett moments ago. Chris?
Thanks, Michael, here with A.J. Burnett. A.J., it seemed like the changeup was really working today.
Well, yeah, it was. You know, I actually talked to Russ about it beforehand, and I basically told him, you know, I'm a fastball curveball guy, and that's what I rely on. And if I'm not going to sit out there and shake for a changeup, so if you want me to throw it, you got to put it down. And he mixed it in well. He knows that I'll throw it to both righties and lefties, and you know, it's good. It's good to have that third pitch, you know, when the hook's a little slow right now.
You're trying to land your front foot in the same spot the whole time. Were you able to do that today?
I have no idea, but as of, you know, taking it from the results and not so much results, but the execution of where my pitches were down in the zone for the most part today, I was very in control.
How about working with Russell? What's it been like to get with a new catcher at this point in spring training?
It's good. It's good to work with him. You know, he worked a couple bullpens with me already. Knows what I like to do. he cares too. You know, he's learning from Larry. He's asking. He's picking everybody's brains about our starters and our bullpen, and you can tell he really wants to win and help out as much as he can.
All right, thanks a lot, AJ. That's AJ Burnett. A perfect afternoon for him today against the Phillies. Michael, back to you.
Well, thank you, Chris, and thank you to AJ. And Ramiro Pena grounds a single to right field for a base hit. It was interesting what he said, John, and maybe you can explain it further for our viewers. He said, I'm a fastball, curveball pitcher. I'm never going to shake to a change. So if you want me to throw it, you have to put it down. Why wouldn't he ever shake to a change?
Well, he's never needed it before. I mean, he's always had, everybody talks about plus stuff, power fastball, great curveball for a strikeout pitch. He's never needed a changeup, and it's never been good enough to be a weapon. And he needs to kind of get to that next level now. When you don't have the curveball, you don't have that explosive fastball, mix in some changeups. But he's 100% right that the job of mixing that in is the catcher. And Russell Martin, in this case this afternoon, we'll see who it's going to be during the season. But you have to make AJ throw it so that he gains some confidence.
It's interesting, though, John. He won't shake to a change. But if a catcher puts down a change, will he shake off of it?
Oh, he'll shake off of it, definitely.
Right.
Definitely, especially in a big spot. But that, again, as a backstop, as a catcher, you want to get him to the point where he has confidence to throw it in a big spot, because we saw it at the end of last year, like Joe Girardi said. We saw it this afternoon. It is a very good major league pitch, and he needs to mix it in a little bit more.
There's a strike to Gardner. Gardner last time up, single to center, stole second, and then ended up scoring. Pena has good speed at first. Yankees are up 7-1. We're in the bottom of the 6th inning.
Michael, that would be a huge step for AJ Burnett to get to that point where he's not thinking about mechanics, which he told our Chris Sheeran this afternoon. That's huge for his second start in spring training. Kind of expected that to be at the end of spring training. Going into the season, it seems like he's ahead of schedule with his mechanics.
Runner goes. Pitch is high, so a walk to Gardner.
We'll take a look at AJ this afternoon. A perfect 3 innings for AJ Burnett. Fastball up in the zone, gets Ryan Howard. Good fastball down to get a ground ball. Nice play by his third baseman. And he talked about it. He just felt like he was very consistent. Again, down and away, a good fastball through the zone. Didn't have any walks, didn't strike anybody out, but very efficient for AJ Burnett this afternoon.
Now here's Jesus Montero, big kick, big catcher. First and second with 1 out. There's a strike. There's always been a thought that Jesus Montero is too big to catch, where when he gets out of the crouch to throw to second is too much unfolding for him to get the ball in his hand and fire to second. But he's shown vast improvement defensively, which makes the Yankees comfortable for him to be the backup catcher, at least until Cervelli comes back. And, you know, if he does well, he might not ever go down again. But Joe Mauer of the Twins, who's also a tall catcher, and taller actually than Montero, said if he wants to catch, and that's what he truly believes in, he has to tell them, I'm a catcher. Don't put me anywhere else. He said the size shouldn't matter.
Well, it seems like his attitude this spring is, I want to be a catcher and don't move me anywhere else, because he's working hard at it. He's got Tony Pena, obviously one of the best behind the plate teaching, working with him this spring. I never bought that, Michael. He's too big to be a catcher. I mean, you could talk about maybe his arm swing throwing the baseball might be too long. That's fine. But I haven't seen that from Montero. He's got a nice quick throwing stroke.
Swing and a miss. Got him on the breaking ball.
Take a look from the side. Jesus Montero in the swing. A little back leg tap. Fooled on the off speed. The curveball down and away. Quality pitch.
You know, there's no doubt about Montero's hitting ability. And Kevin Long said now, 21 years old, he's a 270 hitter if he's in the big leagues. He said, and his upside is higher than that. He said, but right now, 270.
That's playing every day, or that's in a reserve role?
He said playing every day.
Okay.
270 hitter.
The thing that concerns me is being a backup player and getting limited at bats. where maybe, you know, he used to playing every day in the minor leagues.
Last year at AAA hit 289, and that's why he's the one who will probably be the backup to Martin and not Romine, because Romine played at AA. You want to conquer every level.
You know, Michael, I was a backup player to Tony Pena my rookie year, and I was not even close to the type of prospect that Montero is. It's tough to hit as a young kid when you don't play every day.
Dick Swisher swings and misses. No runs a hit. 2 men left. Montero does the catching in the top of the 7th. Yankees lead by 6.
The New York Yankees are tradition.
Swung on and missed. Sabathia is dealing.
2011 New York Yankees season tickets are on sale now with a number of great benefits, including savings off of the game day ticket prices. Several ticket plans also include postseason benefits. Yankee season ticket plans are available on both a full season and partial season basis, starting with our 11-game plan. Buy your season ticket plan today. Call 212-YANKEES or log on to Yankees.com.
Why drive an SUV that's as aerodynamic as an elephant when you could drive this? The stylish yet nimble 5-passenger Mazda CX-7 or the 7-passenger Mazda CX-9 with standard Bluetooth technology and available blind spot monitoring, giving the Mazda CX-9 the highest predicted resale value in its class. Now get a low $289 a month, 36-month lease on the Mazda CX-9 all-wheel drive, but only through March.
Your therapeutic shampoo is finally paying off.
We are going out tonight.
Just another reason to celebrate with Fridays, where right now it's 3 full courses for just $12.99. In here, it's always Friday.
My parents always lived in Queens until my dad transferred to Istanbul. They settled in quickly, found their local deli, a few shortcuts, and a neighborhood hangout. But there's one thing they miss, their beloved New York Mets. So Citi helped me use my thank you points to give them something special. Their old seats, 5 and 6, row C.
Use Citi thank you points for almost anything and earn them fast with the new Citi Thank You Preferred Card. What's your story? Citi can help you write it.
Wednesday, the Nets are back home in the States when they host the Warriors in Newark. Complete coverage starts at 6:30 with the Nets pregame. Then, Ian Eagle and Jim Spinarkle have the call from courtside. Warriors, Nets, coverage starts Wednesday at 6:30, only on Yes. Net fan here in Tampa.
They're all over.
We got a lot of changes, and we will try to get them to you. But as they say, wholesale changes. And there they are. Brandon Laird is in left. Crum is in center. And Jordan Perez is in right. Hot shot. Hacks. A diving Merton down the right field line. And Perez gets it in quickly. So Jimmy Rollins leads off with a single here in the 7th.
Well, Jimmy Rollins leading off the 7th inning, actually hitting 3rd in the batting order. Some talk that he might not lead off this year. We'll see how that plays out. He gets a breaking ball up in the zone and drills it down the right field line past the diving Merton.
Ford scoreboard, 7-1 Yanks. Here's Ryan Howard. Now, John, there's a nasty rumor going around the ballpark that the wholesale changes have so annoyed you that you're not even trying to keep up.
I've given up. I've given up.
Some of the Yankees, nobody left in the dugout.
Is that Stump Merrill?
That is Stump. High pop-up. That's a big league pop-up. Austin Crum for the first out. There's former Yankee manager Stump Merrill. And he's sitting next to Lee Mazzilli, former Orioles manager, and then Steve Donahue, Yankee trainer.
It's one of those situations here, Michael. The Yankees leading 7-1. No need for Rollins to steal a base. I'd love to see him go right here just to get a look at Montero throwing. I've heard so much about him this spring, how much improved he is.
There's a soft ground ball, a second. There's 2 away. As Lauren Joseph guns him down, and Rollins moves to second. Hey, individual game tickets for Yankees 2011 home games will go on sale Friday, March 11th at 10 a.m. So all you have to do is log on to Yankees.com this Friday and be the first of your friends to purchase your 2011 Yankees individual game tickets. Go to Yankees.com on Friday, March 11th at 10 a.m. for your 2011 Yankees individual game tickets. There's Ross Glode. Popped up and out of play. Glode so far today has had 2 ground balls to second base. Hector Noesi in his second inning of work. Foul back to the screen. A.J. Burnett started 3 perfect innings. Jabba Chamberlain a perfect 4th. Pedro Feliciano a perfect 5th. And then Noesi started the 6th, gave up the first 2 hits in the first run by the Phillies. And now another hit here in the 7th, leading off to Jimmy Rollins. Now we have one correction. We said Austin Crum was in center. He's not in center. It's Ray Crummell. So just add an L and change the first name. Ray Crummell is the center fielder who made the play on Ryan Howard. Because of the split squad, the Yankees brought over some minor leaguers from their development across the street. So these kids getting an opportunity to play on the big league field here in spring training and to get on TV.
They get Michael Kay to say their name on TV. It's a thrill of a lifetime.
The 1-2. See, I felt like that in the opposite way when I would say your name on TV. That was a throw for me. When you got that big hit against the Red Sox. And now, can I say this on camera? Congratulations, John Flaherty was nominated for an Emmy in New York for best analyst, along with our colleague Paul
O'Neill. Thank you very much, Michael.
And Nets broadcaster Jim Spinarkle. So Yes Network well represented. Now, will you be one of those guys that I'm just happy to be nominated, or I mean, are you locked in and want to win?
No. It's obviously an honor to be nominated. You know, but it's quite a crowd.
It's good. It's a good group.
Walt Frazier, right?
Yeah, Walt Frazier.
Paul O'Neill. I mean, I can't compete with number 21.
The Warrior. I got to tell you though, the times that I've been nominated and I've lost, it's not good. You don't think, gee, it's great to be nominated. I am of the Charlie Sheen mindset. Winning. It's about winning.
So you're 0 for how many times?
I think 0 for 3 for best play-by-play.
It's such a hard category, though.
The best. Doc Emmerich, Mike Green, Marv Albert, Gary Cohn. Great play-by-play guys in New York. But when they tell you it's an honor to be nominated, they're not telling the truth. You'll be sitting and you'll be miserable when they don't call your name. Although they might.
No, see, I don't think so. Because
I'll play along.
See, here's the difference. My whole young adult life was about making it to the major leagues and having a major league career.
Right.
Now everybody can see how white I am on camera. That's great. Thank you, Mike Cooney, our director. Now, your whole professional career was about getting to this point and winning an Emmy. It's like a World Series ring for you.
Sure, an MVP.
Okay.
Yeah.
See, that I don't have those aspirations. I've already had my...
But now you're very good at this, so you want to win an Emmy.
I enjoy doing the game, so that's good enough for me. Being able to spend some quality time with you, breaking down baseball.
That's a great Christmas story. We'll see. The 2-2 is fouled away. Now, Joe Girardi's actually won an Emmy for his work on TV.
Really?
Yeah.
As an analyst?
For Kids on Deck. Are you poo-pooing Kids on Deck?
I am not. It's an outstanding show.
You're part of that show.
Professor Flaherty.
Professor Flaherty.
You can tune in and learn something.
The 2-2. Hammered foul.
So who's going to win this battle here? Glode having a great at bat. Noesi, a young pitcher, trying to get a quality big league hitter out. Nine pitches in this at bat already, 8 for strikes.
High fly ball, deep right. Going back, Perez on the track at the wall. He makes the play. Jordan Perez going a long way as Noesi barely wins that battle. Good battle by Glode. No runs, a hit, no errors, and 1 man left at the end of 6.5. Time for the 7th inning stretch in Tampa. Yankees lead 7-1.
How can your car respond to over 10,000 voice commands? Get the all-new Ford Edge with My Ford Touch. It even reads your text messages. During the Leadership Sales Drive, lease an all-new Edge for just $229 a month. Smartest crossover. Phenomenal deal at your Tri-State Ford dealer.
40 years ago, he wasn't worried about retirement. He'd yet to hear of mutual funds, IRAs, or annuities. Back then, he had something more important to do. He wasn't focused on his future. But fortunately, somebody else was. At USAA, we provide retirement solutions for our military, veterans, and their families. From investments to life insurance to healthcare options. Learn more with our free USAA retirement guide. Call 877-242-USAA.
I also will my private jet, my island in the Maldives, and full control of the family business to my soulmate, Angel. Finally, to my only son, Chauncey, I bequeath my DirecTV and its vast collection of 6,000 shows and movies.
DirecTV now gives you instant access to 6,000 shows and movies at no extra charge.
Yeah! Whoa! Thank you! Yeah!
Don't just watch TV, DirecTV.
Completing an ATM deposit in record time. That's a step forward. With deposit-friendly ATMs, you can make ultra-fast, secure deposits with no slips or envelopes. Take a step forward and chase what matters.
Leadership isn't given, it's earned. And the all-new Ford Edge is a proven leader with the best fuel economy in its class. During our Leadership Sales Drive, you can lease an all-new Edge all-wheel drive for just $229 a month. Unbeatable value, incredible deal at your Tri-State Ford dealer.
On the Ford scoreboard, bottom of the 7th inning, Yankees lead 7-1. Crummell leads off against a new Philly pitcher, Brian Bass. Four games with the Pirates last year. Crummell, soft ground ball to third. Across the diamond, Crummell's got some speed as he's gunned down for the first out. Well, Curtis Granderson didn't need his speed with one swing today. He hit a long home run, and it was good for 2 runs. A 2-run shot by Curtis Granderson, and our own Chris Sheeran caught up with Curtis.
Thank you, Michael, here with Curtis Granderson. Little hitting display today off Roy Oswalt. How did that go? What did you hit? What was that pitch?
I think it was a fastball at that time. My first ever series against Roy Oswalt. I played with him as a teammate in the World Baseball Classic, but it's early. He's working on some stuff. I'm still working on stuff, and was able to get a ball in the middle of the plate, which I'm sure he won't throw that pitch there again because he doesn't make a living there. He likes to get pitches up in the zone, down in the zone, out of the zone, and be deceptive. And it's March 5th, 6th, whatever it is. So you take it for what it is, but you continue to work on it on both sides just like he is.
We're the beneficiary, Curtis, in TV to see slow motion instant replays, and we had you isolated in the batter's box. No stride. Is that something different? Is that something you're working on now?
I didn't know. I thought I had a stride, so I'd have to go look at it. I'm trying to stride. It might just be really small and minute, for the most part, I feel like there's a little bit of momentum going towards the pitcher. But if in slow motion it's not showing it, maybe there isn't.
Speaking of pitching, how about A.J. Burnett's performance today? 3 perfect innings. How do you think it went for him today?
Went really good. He was able to challenge everybody up there 1 through 9, worked in, worked out, worked quick. When he did fall behind, he was able to go ahead and keep the composure and battle back. Their hitters also had some good long at-bats against him, and he was able to go ahead and stay in there and battle against them.
He's a fastball curveball pitcher. He admitted it to me just a couple of minutes ago. He had that changeup today. So how filthy is he with that changeup working too?
Anytime you add another pitch to the arsenal, you always go ahead and accelerate your game just a little bit further on. But his fastball and curveball are 2 of the best in the game. So those are some very good pitches. If you add a 3rd pitch in there, he's going to be very dangerous.
All right, Curtis, thanks a lot. That's Curtis Granderson. Michael, let's send it back to you.
There's nothing that works like confidence. Especially with all this to back it up.
At the Lincoln Spring Forward event, get an attractive sign and drive lease plus 4 years complimentary maintenance on a Lincoln MKZ.
It's not just luxury, it's smarter than that.
It's here, Rite Aid's free Wellness Plus rewards card. Discover all the ways Wellness Plus rewards you.
Join Wellness Plus today, and the more you shop, the more benefits you'll earn, like up to 20% off your purchases. That's like getting the whole store on sale every day for a year. Only at Rite Aid.
Vanessa insisted on high ceilings in a full-service building brimming with amenities. Stephen needed a skyline view from inside the park, a quick commute, and a fine aged cognac. No compromising was necessary. Life, surrounded by 85 acres of park. One Brooklyn Bridge Park, one of a kind.
Moving? Call, pack, kick back. That's all it takes to move your DirecTV. One call before moving, pack your receiver, and we do the rest. Just call, pack, kick back, and ask about 3 free months of HBO and Cinemax, or Stars and Showtime, plus our special equipment upgrade offer. So make your move easy. Call DirecTV.
Top of the 8th inning, the Yankees are leading this one 7-1. There's a new pitcher for the Yankees, one of the really nice stories in spring training. Mark Pryor hasn't pitched in the big league since 2006. A myriad of injuries, shoulder problems, and he's done a good job so far this spring.
You see the 3 strikeouts in 2 innings. The velocity not back to where we were used to it when he was in his heyday with the Chicago Cubs, mid-90s. Now pitching around the upper 80s, a little shorter arm delivery.
Matt Miller at the plate. Pryor has to have a dedication to all of the arm exercises that you can do. Has to keep that area strong. Always in the back of his mind, he has to worry, is this going to be the pitch that hurts me? But he said he can't really dwell on that. He just has to let it go. He used to have a nasty breaking ball, and you know, his shoulder problems, John, probably is the rent that you pay on that breaking ball earlier in your career.
Yeah, I remember he had a little incident at second base, right, where he got thrown, or there was a little collision. I remember Larry Rothschild telling me about. Kind of started some of those shoulder problems, and then they just progressively got worse. You see the list of injuries, it is long. Mostly shoulder, which we know is a tough one to come back from.
Initially drafted by the Yankees, decided to go to college. They drafted him out of high school. Went to Vanderbilt, transferred to USC, then drafted by the Cubs. And he was the first pick. He was the second pick in the draft. The first pick belonged to the Twins. And he told the Twins he didn't want to play for them. So they took the consolation prize of Joe Mauer.
Not a bad one.
And you wonder, would they have drafted Maurer anyway? Pryor was considered can't miss, but Maurer, the local kid. And that was a pretty heady draft to the top 5 picks. Only Dwan Brazelton really didn't do well. Strike 3. Miller down looking.
Oh, a good pitch by Mark Pryor. He's not going to blow people away with the velocity anymore, but he locates a fastball perfectly on the outside corner and down. I mentioned a little shorter arm stroke. Ball jumps out of his hand. Good spot. Picks up a strikeout. Well, Michael, I laughed at list of that draft. Dwan Brazelton for the Tampa Bay Devil Rays back then didn't quite work out, and I guess I'm a little solely responsible for that. They called him up in September.
Right.
After he was drafted, and they basically said, we want you to follow John Flaherty around here at the big leagues, and he'll kind of talk to you and tutor you and send you on your way. And obviously never heard from again.
High fly ball, right field. And Perez will make the play. Was he a nice kid?
Great kid. Great kid. Just never worked out. I think he had some arm problems when he went back to the minor leagues. And, you know, the draft is such a, you know, even Mark Pryor, I mean, obviously he ran into a lot of shoulder problems, but it's such an inexact science. Everybody thought he had the perfect motion, right? Great mechanics.
I say of all the professional sports drafts, the biggest crapshoot is baseball. There's such a drop or such a jump in level from either high school or college. It's amazing. And you're trying to, if you're a scout, you're trying to project, well, what could this guy do at the big league level? And then sometimes they're right and sometimes they're wrong.
Yeah, you hear scouts talk all the time. Where is his ceiling? How much better is he going to get? And it's the toughest thing to predict.
That one is drilled to left field deep. Going back, Laird is going to be over his head. And he'll have to play it up against the wall. So Pete Orr picks up a 2-out double. The one thing that I think makes it extraordinarily tough are aluminum bats. I mean, you're asking a scout to sit there and say, okay, what would that be off the bat if it was wood? And how would the pitcher pitch differently if he was pitching to a guy with a wood bat? If I'm the major league teams, I would pay for all colleges to have those wood bats. Make it easier, and it'd be safer, too.
Well, you know, Michael, nice block by Montero there and a changeup. I enjoy spending about a week or 10 days up on Cape Cod during the summer with my family. And one of the attractions is going to the Cape League baseball games, which is a college summer league. And all the kids have to use the wooden bats there. And you see all the scouts because they want to see what a college kid looks like with a wood bat in his hand and how the pitcher's stuff translate to a wooden bat. But that's really the only time they get to see what a prospect looks like with a wood bat in their hand.
Count 1-0 on Michael Martinez. If you think about it, how a pitcher pitches differently. In college, you can get in on a guy's hand. I mean, a really perfect pitch, and he could go off the fist and hit the ball out with an aluminum bat, but with a wood bat, that wouldn't happen. So you're a different pitcher up here as well. You have to be a different pitcher.
Yeah, in college, you're pitching away from the hitter, away from contact. You get to the minor leagues and the big leagues, you're trying to tie people up inside, get in on their hands, different mindset. You know, Michael, when you pick up that wooden bat and you start playing minor league baseball, it takes a good year and a half before you really feel comfortable on how to hit with a wooden bat. Totally different.
Lofted to left field off the bat of Martinez. Laird will put it away, and that will do it. So Mark Pryor, another scoreless inning. No runs hit, and one man left. We go to the bottom of the 8th, 7-1 Yankees. The Emirates Stadium in London. With the top of the league in their sights, the Gunners are looking for the full 3 points. It all starts tonight at 10:30 with a match preview on Arsenal 360 right here on Yes. Ryan Fearbend pitching for the Phillies here in the bottom of the 8th inning, and he deals a strike to Bradley Suttle. Those are the numbers. to the count 1-1. Bradley Suttle, one of the good young hitters that they had to Tampa A-ball last year. They've had some power and RBIs.
I was going to say 10 home runs in the Florida State League is impressive, known as a pitcher's league, a lot of big ballparks. 10 home runs, 80 RBIs, impressive power numbers.
Melky Mesa, their center field, the same deal. There's a ground ball through the right side for base hit for Bradley Suttle.
Talk about the 10 home runs, impressive in the Florida State League, but a nice piece of hitting just going the other way. Trying to do too much. Nice inside out stroke. Get behind in the count, 2 strikes.
Jose Perella. More good numbers from Tampa. Chopped. Over the middle. There's one. Not in time. The shortstop, Freddie Galvin, with the play. Today's game on Yes is brought to you in part by Nissan. Get to the Nissan Now sales event for the Nissan you want. Visit ChooseNissan.com or your local dealer now. By DirecTV. Don't just watch TV, DirecTV. Call 1-800-DIRECT-TV. And by Mazda. Zoom. Zoom. Here's Corbin Joseph. Fouls it back. Squibb slowly. Shortstop Galvin, the long throw, got him. Showing an arm there. Runner moves to second.
Well, a nice play going to his right. And like you said, Michael, showing some arm strength, throwing across his body.
And here's Brandon Laird. Good numbers at Double-A Trenton. Yankees like this kid. Can play third, play the outfield, play some first. He's in the battle with Eric Chavez as well. They like his toughness. They like his attitude.
Well, they like the fact that he's right-handed with some power, tough to find.
Vera Ben goes upstairs. Big healthy cut at an off speed.
2-0, he's hunting a fastball and he gets a changeup, a big swing out in front.
Count 2-2. Joe will travel with the team to Sarasota tonight. Split squad game. Yankees and the Orioles tonight. The 2-2. Missed inside. Three-two. Grounded to short. Backhanded by Galvin, the long throw. And that'll do it. No runs a hit. One man left. We go to the ninth at 7-1 Yankees.
Want to know what it takes to be a leader? How about just being the best? Like Ford Escape with an unbelievable 28 miles per gallon. During our leadership sales drive, lease an Escape for just $179 a month. Less stops at the pump, more savings in your wallet at your Tri-State Ford dealer.
The New York Yankees are great moments.
See ya! What a play! He got him!
Yankee fans, bring your family, friends, or business associates to Yankee Stadium for a group outing and enjoy Yankees baseball in a game day suite. Game day suites can accommodate groups as small as 12 and up to 382 guests with all-inclusive food and non-alcoholic beverage packages. Make your special occasion legendary. Call 212-YANKEES, email suites@yankees.com, or log on to yankees.com/suites.
Save $100 on the DeMarini Voodoo Bat. This and everything baseball. Sports Authority, all things sporting good.
It's amazing what the right key can do for you. Whether it's getting to work or as far from it as possible. And now that Chevy Truck Month is here, it's time to get the keys that you can depend on. During Chevy Truck Month, qualified buyers get 0% APR financing for 60 months on a 2011 Tahoe. Get the keys that do more.
7-1, the Yankees lead the Phillies, and it'll be the 6th Yankee pitcher on the mound, Luis Ayala. Did not pitch in the big leagues last year. That's what he did at AAA, a couple of organizations. Yankees like his stuff. Not sure if they could have him stick at the beginning of the season, but he could be one of their first call-ups if he goes down to the minor leagues. He's got experience in the bigs.
First thing Joe Girardi notices, a little lower arm angle for Ayala. Give him a little bit of movement on the fastball, a little deception. Great afternoon for the pitching staff for the New York Yankees. Ayala trying to finish it off. A.J. Burnett outstanding through 3 innings. Jobber Chamberlain was solid. Feliciano, Noesi, Mark Pryor.
Pitch inside to Carlos Rivero. Grounded to third. Nice play there by Suttle. 1 away. 2011 Yankees season tickets are on sale now. Season ticket plans offer a number of great benefits, including savings off game day ticket prices. Several ticket plans also include postseason benefits. Season ticket plans are available on a full season and partial season basis, starting with an 11-game plan. To buy your season ticket plan today, call 212-YANKEES or log on to yankees.com. Freddie Galvin, sporting a good arm in the bottom of the 8th, now leads, or should I say comes up with 2 outs here in the 9th. Check that 1 out. The 2-1. High pop-up. Shallow right. Perez will put it away. And the Phillies are down to their final out. Sellout crowd here at Steinbrenner Field today, 10,896. Many of them have hit the road. As the Phillies will try to keep this game alive, Joel Naughton will pinch hit for Ryan Howard, the DH. .92-mile-an-hour fastball by Ayala.
Yeah, with some movement too, which is going to make Larry Rothschild pretty happy, the pitching coach, but he's got to be happy all the way around with what his pitchers have done on the mound, and also Kevin Long, the hitting instructor.
Fly ball, shallow center, coming on Crummell, and he'll have to play it on a hop.
Yankees 7 runs, 11 hits, some power. Curtis Granderson a home run. Nunez make Kevin Long pretty happy. So a good day for the manager, Joe Girardi. Good day for the hitting instructor and the pitching coach, and they'll take it to Sarasota tonight. Go against Baltimore.
Delwyn Young will try to keep it alive for the Phils. They do not hold Naughton on at first. Count 1-0. Big story, A.J. Burnett with a perfect 3 innings. Jabba Chamberlain, another strong outing. And Pedro Feliciano, the same deal. That covered the first 5 innings, and the Phillies could not manage a hit off those 3 Yankee pitchers. And when you see spring training games, especially in the first couple of weeks of spring training, you want to pay attention to the first couple of innings because that's when the regulars are in there. After that, you're seeing players that you might not see in big moments. So A.J. Burnett faced, for the most part, the Philly lineup. Obviously, Chase Utley is out with an injury, but Charlie Manuel brought a representative team over to Tampa. A 1-2 outside. And the pitch outside again in the count 3-2. That's going to release Naughton at first. Runner goes, swing and a miss, and that's going to do it. The Yankees beat the Phillies 7-1. And for the Phillies in the 9th, no runs a hit and 1 man left. Ayala closes it out. The final of 6 pitchers used by Joe Girardi. And the Yankees' spring record is now 4-5-1 as the Phillies drop to 5-6. They have another game tonight against the Orioles in Sarasota. Jeter and A-Rod and Cano and Teixeira will play in that one. 7-11-0, beating 1-5-1. Time of the game, 2:33. Burnett the win, Oswald the loss. Burnett 3 strong innings. Eduardo Nunez a 3-run home run. Curtis Granderson a 2-run home run and 3 runs scored. Well, that's going to do it from here at George M. Steinbrenner Field in Tampa, Florida. Special thanks to producer Troy Benjamin, director Michael Cooney, Vice President of Operations Ed Delaney, our supervisor and producer Woody Fryman, and the executive producer of the Yes Network is Mr. John J. Filippelli. Join us again tomorrow for Yankees baseball as the Bombers travel to Lake Buena Vista, Florida to take on the Atlanta Braves at Champion Stadium. Our coverage will begin at 1 p.m. on the Yes Network. Once again, the final score, the New York Yankees 7, the Philadelphia Phillies 1. For John Flaherty, Chris Sheeran, and Jack Curry, I'm Michael Kay saying see ya from George M. Steinbrenner Field in Tampa, Florida. Have a good day, everybody. So long.
Could switching to Geico really save you 15% or more on car insurance? What, do you live under a rock?
No way. Hey, Rick, check this out.
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
Get out of the cookie-cutter carpool and ditch the box on wheels for this. The road-ripping Mazda 3. It outperforms Civic and Corolla with more standard horsepower plus 16-inch wheels, and comes with available high-tech features like push-button start and Bluetooth phone and audio technology. Now get a low $149 a month, 36-month lease on the Mazda 3, but only through March.
Completing an ATM deposit in record time. That's a step forward. With deposit-friendly ATMs, you can make ultra-fast, secure deposits with no slips or envelopes. Take a step forward and chase what matters.
The in crowd. They know the in spots, the in places, inside and out. They know the beautiful people, and they know how to get there in style. The in crowd, those who choose Infinity of Manhattan. In Manhattan, yet in keeping with low price and high quality, and inviting the tri-state area to save on
the M37X at an insider's price of only $479 per month.
So get into the in crowd. Get into Infinity of Manhattan.
Sniffing out the best pre-owned Lexus is now puppy's play at preownedplatinum.com. Fetch the pick of the litter from the inventories of the Tri-State's leading Lexus dealers. That's hundreds of cars from which we pick the highest value, lowest priced Lexus in the market that day. Unconditional love or exchange it within 48 hours. At preownedplatinum.com, pedigree is assured by a Carfax vehicle history. We are doggedly committed to making credit easy. So log on now. The pick of the Lexus litter is waiting for you at preownedplatinum.com. We lick those other websites.
If you think you have to put off getting a new car, think twice, as in Bay Ridge Nissan.
And Nissan of Manhattan.
The combined strength of two of New York's biggest Nissan dealers can offer you easy, low-cost financing.
With twice the selection, twice the credit available. That means our prices just can't be beat, and we can prove it.
Just bring in any ad. 2 times the service.
2 times the savings.
So come in and see how the power of 2
makes beating any price
twice as nice.
We now join the Mike Francesa Show, already in progress.
There, it's not like he has to go to school there. It's not like he didn't have any choice.
With all the shenanigans that goes on with the NCAA.
Wait a second, Ralph. This is you see, but again, you're all off the point. They hurt their own school by keeping to their standards. They destroyed their own basketball season by keeping to their standards.
You know, it was pretty silly. Now, Stoudemire coming out with that comment, I agree, was a silly one. In solidarity with the young brother,
this has nothing to do with race, and it has nothing to do with anything. And Stoudemire has no right to even talk about this, okay? Because it doesn't have anything to do with it. And he doesn't know. The bottom line, though, Ralph, is that, again, you're talking about rights. You're talking about infringement. He agreed to go to school there. They have a code of conduct. You don't have to go to school there. They're not putting him in jail. And the other part of this is, wouldn't it have been easy for them to look the other way and keep their basketball team as good as it is now? They just ruined their basketball season. They're not the same team without him. They're not going to win anything without him. They're not going to the Final Four without him. But more important was them. That's how they. Now, are you going to get on here and belittle the Mormon faith? Why would you want to do that? Because somebody could attack. I get someone on the air to attack every religion, and I can get people on to attack every religion. So, I mean, that doesn't make any sense. We all know that religions all have things that people in everyday secular life might not agree with. Okay, so that doesn't make any sense to attack their religion. It's their religion. You might not agree with it. I might not agree with it. It's their religion. I'm a Catholic. You might not agree with my religion. That's fine. But just leave religion out of it. But it happens to be a religious school, and they have a code. And, again, the kid owned up to what he did, and and they didn't look the other way. It would have been interesting if they looked the other way. It would have been interesting if they tried to hide it and play him. John in the Bronx. What's up, John?
Hey, Mike, big fan.
What's happening?
Thank you. I heard an interview recently with Steve Young talking about this. He was an old BYU guy, and not only that, the kid is a Mormon. So it's like these values are instilled in you the day that you become a Mormon about substance abuse, about sex before marriage. Now, I don't necessarily agree with it, but that's BYU's.
Nor do I. And listen, if he doesn't agree with it, I understand that that's his prerogative. I have no problem with him saying, I don't want to go to school here for that reason. That's fine. But I don't see how anybody comes down on BYU for this. I mean, to me, all BYU is doing is standing up to what they believe in. This is what they believe in. He is, I wasn't even sure if he was a practicing Mormon or not, the player. I wasn't even sure. So I didn't comment on that because I didn't know if he was. So he just told me the player was a Mormon. I didn't even know if he was or he wasn't. Now, when Jim Young went there, remember, they had a lot of problems with Jim Young. Not Jim Young, Jim McMahon. They had a lot of problems with Jim McMahon. And I'm sure they bent the rules and looked the other way for Jim McMahon. Jim McMahon wasn't abiding by too many of anything. But he wasn't a Mormon, Jim McMahon, when he went to school there. And they knew that when they recruited him. They don't only recruit Mormons to play there, because Jim McMahon obviously wasn't a Mormon. Rich in Rockland. What's up, Rich?
Hey, Mike. Yeah, that's funny about Jim McMahon. I don't know how he got through.
I don't know how they got Jim through the school, but it's a long time ago. I don't know what they did. They must have looked the other way for Jim McMahon, I would think.
Yeah, I don't think he stepped up with that honor code, but I can't understand why people find it so hard. What don't they get?
I don't understand that. I don't understand why BYU has come under attack in this thing. I really don't understand.
Actually, I should do. I was hoping they would make a run in the tournament, but I kind of applaud their decision. I mean, they stepped up. This is the way
they ruined their season.
They did.
They ruined
honor, HONOR, and this guy stepped up.
They ruined their season. I mean, they're not going to go anywhere now without this kid. They're not the same team. They have a wonderful player in Fredette who's going to be a pro player who's a wonderful player, probably the best player they've had there since Ainge. They got a wonderful player there, and they had a top team. And they could have maybe, been a team that could have, who knows, maybe won the whole thing. Who knows? I don't understand why they've come under attack. And that's why I don't want to hear from Stoudemire. I don't want to hear from Tim Tebow. I don't want to hear from anybody. It's none of your business. They have a rule. They ask their players and their students to abide by the rule, and that's it. If the rule wasn't spilled out to him, if it had been something that he didn't know about, and he says, I didn't know about it, that's a different story. That's not the case here. He's never stated that either. Dick in Princeton, what's up, Dick?
Hey, Mike. I agree with you entirely. 2 points real quick. One is the schools that I know that have honor codes require all entering freshmen to sign them.
Right.
So, any entering freshman is going to know what the honor code is at the school. The second thing is, people complaining about BYU and their religion and having sex. It's just, what would people around here think if Yeshiva University was required to serve ham and bacon?
Yeah, I'm just saying. I mean, you can't get into the.
It doesn't make any sense.
Right. You can't get into people's, making any derogatory statements about anybody else's religion. Everybody has religious things that other people feel are odd or that don't match up to secular life. We understand that. I mean, that goes without saying, clearly without saying. That's the case. I mean, without any question, that's the case. But that doesn't mean you take it out on the school. They happen to be a Mormon school. Now, not every one of their players, I don't think they only recruit Mormon players. I don't think that's the case. Because Catholic schools don't only recruit, Catholics. I mean, that's not the issue. They might require you to take a theology course, but that's a course you can take even if you weren't Catholic. It's as much philosophy as it is anything else. So I mean, you can it's just you can take the course. So I don't think you have to be. I'm sure there've been many players at St. John's, let's say as an example, that weren't Catholic. As a matter of fact, we know St. John's has had Jewish players. So I mean, it doesn't have to be, but he happens, I guess, to be a practicing Mormon, and he does agree with the honor code. And remember, he turned himself in. They didn't catch him. Max in New Jersey, what's up, Max?
Yeah, what's up, Mike?
Oh yeah.
It's funny, this whole thing, everybody's talking about it. I would not only forget about complaining about what they're doing, there's a rare time, I'm not going to say in sports, just in general, with everything happening, people being straight up and honest. A guy came up and was honest. People are mad about that. The guy came up and said he did something. He was honest about it. The school has something that they have to abide by. They were honest about it. People are saying they should hide it. That's something we should promote and be proud about. People being straight up and honest. That's the bottom line. Forget about sports. Forget about the tournament. I don't usually call about things like that. But
think about it. The team took it. The player took a hit, and then the team took a hit, and the school took a hit, and they get knocked for it. All they did were abide by their rules, and they're their rules. I was shocked by people just pounding on BYU like BYU had done something wrong. John, Long Island, what's up, John?
Hey, Mike, how you doing? I just, I agree with you. I can't believe people would come down on BYU. I mean, I know you're from Long Island. I went to Chaminade High School,
Yep.
a very strict, all-boys Catholic high school.
Sure. No, it will.
And you read, before you went to school, before you enrolled, they gave you the book that had the conduct, and you had to sign it. You agreed to go by that conduct. And I mean, it wasn't a lot of fun, but it was a strict school that had high academic standards, and I'm, I couldn't be happier that I went to that school. But to come, you signed something that you're agreeing to abide by those rules. So going against the school is crazy.
It's people who don't know what they're talking about, who somehow feel the kid's getting a raw deal here. The kid has not complained, as far as I know. I mean, he admitted what he was doing. I mean, I don't know what else they want him to do. Ari in East Side, what's up, Ari?
Hey, Mike, how you doing? I'm a big fan.
What's happening?
I just wanted to say, I agree with you about not commenting and ripping apart BYU. But I think Amari on his Twitter account realized his mistake and went back on it.
Oh, he did?
Because he commented about the brother being kicked out of school, but then the day later he wrote, "I totally understand the actions of BYU. I totally respect the school and the conduct rules.
I didn't realize
BYU has a great athletic program."
See, I only saw the headline. I didn't see the next story. I don't read his Twitter account,
I know. I just happened to be following him.
Gotcha.
I mean, maybe he was being sarcastic the next day, but I think he realized that they did. Maybe he didn't realize they had an honor code or something, and then he realized. I don't know.
Well, the students, we have the code, and we got a copy of it here. What they agreed to before, and they agree to stay in good standing. They agree that they go into school under these conditions, and they stay at school under these conditions. And hey, it's their business. It's what they believe in. It's what they ask of their students. Just like West Point asked their students to do certain things. All right? Other schools don't have the same restrictions. That's all. They just have a different set of rules. Whatever their rules are, they're their rules. They're not our rules. They're their rules. Ernie in Connecticut. What's up, Ernie?
Hey, Mike. How you doing today?
How are you?
Hey, I got to totally agree with this BYU thing. I mean, pro athletes, they enter contracts where, you're going in there knowing what's expected. And, if you don't do it, you're out. It's as simple as that. And I guess the second thing I want to ask you is, with this whole NFL possible lockout,
right?
I might sound stupid, but can they go and play in the Canadian Football League if they wanted to, just to keep in shape for the season? I'll hear your thoughts. Thanks.
If they're under contract, they won't do that. I mean, guys who don't have contracts could. If guys who have contracts aren't permitted to do that. Guys who are under, multi-year deals wouldn't be permitted. If you were a free agent, you would be permitted to do anything you want. But you run the risk of injury, and they're going to frown on you doing it. If you're a valuable player, you're not going to want to do it. And the money's not great. I could see one or two guys doing it if, they really needed the money. But most players are not going to find that as a viable alternative. Back after this.
WFAN.
Hi, I'm Derek Jeter, and here's tonight's starting lineup on Yes.
Spring training baseball continues on Yes. Tomorrow at 1. The Yankees' young guns are set to sparkle in the Sunshine State when the Bombers head to Lake Buena Vista for a battle with the Braves. Spring training baseball continues tomorrow afternoon at 1, only on Yes.
Geico, saving people money on more than just car insurance.
J&R, New York's largest and top-rated technology superstore for cameras, computers, audio products, movies, music, housewares, TVs, video games, and more, is now proud to be the official consumer electronics retailer of the New York Yankees.
What brought you to eHarmony?
They said, hey, here are some gentlemen that meet your core values. Take a look at them. When I found Adam, it was just boom.
Review your matches free at eHarmony.com.
This storm is an absolute monster.
10 states are under winter weather alert.
All I can say is brace yourself, New York.
1,000 cars stuck now on Lakeshore
1,000 cars are literally just parked.
We closed the interstates in Iowa.
Over 10,000 flights have been canceled due to heavy snowfall.
You do not want to be out there today, folks.
Good afternoon at 4 o'clock. This is Rich Ackerman. The Yanks defeated the Phillies today in Tampa 7-1, and a good sign as A.J. Burnett goes 3 scoreless innings. He didn't allow a hit and didn't walk a batter. Eduardo Nunez and Curtis Granderson both with homers off of Roy Oswalt. The Mets lost the Tigers 2-1. R.A. Dickey went 4 innings, gave up 4 hits and 2 runs, both groundouts by Victor Martinez. The Knicks posted an impressive win in Atlanta and are home tonight to take on the Jazz. Chauncey Billups remains questionable with a thigh bruise but hopes to play. Carmelo Anthony said he expects to play after logging just 31 minutes last night when he was poked in the eye and hit in the head on separate occasions. All the other local teams are off tonight. The MAC championship takes place between Iona and St. Peter's, and Texas Tech has fired head basketball coach Pat Knight after 3 seasons. Sign up to become an eye, organ, and tissue donor when you get your driver's license. It only takes a minute. Call 2